guys hear us okay?
Yes, you hear us loud and clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Did we talk about the opening? Yeah, I don't think we did.
We haven't really solidified one yet, I suppose. We have the one that we did last time, and you can start this time.
Oh, I totally forgot.
It was something like hello and welcome to Two Weebs in a Pod. I'm your host, and you can say Meeta, and I can say I'm your co-host. We are wait, maybe it's I don't remember.
Okay, I tried to. Okay, I'll wing it.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to 2 Weeks in a Pod. I'm your host. My co-host. Do I say I'm co-host? I'm co-host.
No. You can say the host because you're hosting today. You know.
I'm host and Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Take 3. Welcome back to 2 Weeks in a Pod. I'm your host, Meeta Osita,
And I'm your.
Okay, no with.
Okay.
No with. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Welcome back to 2 Weeks in a Pod. I'm Meeta Osita with I'm Meeta Osita.
No, I'm your host, Meeta Osita, right?
Okay, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to 2 Weeks in a Pod. I'm your host, Meeta Osita.
And I'm your co-host, Lyra Valkyria.
And this is episode 2 of 2 Weeks
Episode
in a
2!
Pod.
Yay!
Yes, this episode we are covering Summer Anime 2023. What do we watch, recommend, and what do we drop?
Yeah, we sure dropped a lot of things, so it's gonna be mostly drops. Before we get started, though, I took a long pause so I can edit this out. This is gonna be edited out. But just a reminder that the live stream, we don't read super chats, we don't read memberships, and we will not really be reading chat.
Right.
We are reading it, but we're not gonna be responding to it very much. So just as a heads up that's how this operates. We're gonna be editing out certain content for the version that will be later uploaded to my channel this time. That is the edited version. So yeah, that's how this format works. As a reminder, if you guys forgot, just in case.
Yeah, sounds about.
Got it? Okay, cool.
Yeah, sounds about right. Well, Lyra Senpai, how was your overall experience? How was your overall experience for summer 2023?
Pretty bad.
Sounds about right. Yeah, honestly, yeah.
I feel like it kind of started strong though. Like, I feel like it did start strong. Like, I was excited. There were a couple things that I watched in the very beginning that I thought were really cool. We even had the Jujutsu Kaisen, for example, season 2 in that. I mean, we're not going to really talk a lot about the sequels because there were a lot of sequels.
Right.
But Jujutsu Kaisen was like a huge one for a lot of people, so I was pretty hyped for the season 2 of that. And then I think I started it with the first one that I watched was My Happy Marriage, and that one was really good. So I was pretty like hype in general.
Oh wow! For My Happy Marriage, I guess we're starting there because I was not really a big fan of it. I watched up to 10 episodes, and I know there were 12 episodes overall. But
you're like almost done.
I dropped it. I dropped it temporarily at least to continue because that was the characters I could not get into.
I feel like with My Happy Marriage, it was one of those series where I actually think I might have watched less than you because I kind of stopped around episode 6 maybe because I mean I enjoyed it, but I think it was just one of those things that it was too depressing. I was like every episode I was just getting really depressed, and like it's like positive because it's like, you know, she is kind of coming out of this bad situation. But it was just like so depressing to get to that point that every episode I watched made me really sad. Like you like lose faith in humanity every single episode. The only good person is like the guy, and I'm just like I don't know. And then I you know, it was another one. I know we kind of talked about this a little bit with what series was it? There was another series we were talking about this with, but like it has a little, and I'm like this with both. Like no like both male and female vision, but like when it's too oriented in terms of like one way or the other, like it feels too, pandering, too strongly female fantasy or too strongly male fantasy, I feel like that's like not really my vibe. And I feel like My Happy Marriage was a little bit too female fantasy in that way.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Like, I think there's a point of that where it, like, is acceptable. Like, I'm okay with a certain degree of it. But this one was a little too much, I think.
Yeah.
In that regard. So I can see it being a turnoff.
Yeah, for sure. And going more into depth about, like, the characters and the overall, like, pacing, I did not enjoy that one bit. So I feel like there was no, like, actual connection between them that made them feel like, oh, they might be something more. It kind of felt like he just, like, oh, I like her, like, all of a sudden. But, like, it didn't feel like the heart, doki-dokis, none of that. It just happened so quickly. And it didn't feel like, what's it called? Generic? It didn't flow well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like the sort of turning point of, like, he suddenly likes her and he's like suddenly good to her didn't really make any sense, especially because he was like such an asshole to everyone else, and he was only an asshole to her for like half an episode or something.
Right. And so like it was a really good turning point where he started to like slowly, become a better person to her. It was just like instant, like, oh yeah, obviously you're my fiance. I'm like, oh yeah. Okay? Question mark.
I think it would have actually been better if, like, that part where she gets kidnapped by her old family?
Oh, yeah.
If that had happened, like, earlier. So, like, if that happened and that was his turning point where he realizes, like, oh, shit. Like, despite all this shit that she went through, she actually has been trying really hard for me. And then that's when he starts kind of, like, melting his sort of tsundere exterior. I think that would have been a lot more interesting, personally.
That most definitely would have been more interesting because they totally dragged that the first beginning part out, and then when she got kidnapped afterwards, it just felt like it didn't feel like, oh, I'm being rescued by my loved one. It just felt like, I'm just getting rescued. It was really weird. And I did not like the main character. So I understand. I'm not like clowning on her for having these like traumatic feelings, for having these nightmares. Like, totally understandable. Like, people cope in different ways. But for her, you don't see until like later on, like past the episodes you see, she is like totally doesn't know where she stands. Like, her actions and her words are totally different, and it annoys me to a big degree because like her words are saying like in general, it's not much of a spell, just in general, she's like, I want to be with him, but I also don't want to trouble him because I am so and so. Like, she's not confident in herself or anything,
right?
But then when it actually comes to his like well-being, when it actually happened like later on in the episodes, she's like, I don't care. She literally says that. And I'm like, what? But in the same episode later, she's like, no, Lord, oh no. And I'm like, what? and it's really confusing. And it's very, it just completely felt just like, this is not a real person. This didn't feel like a really nice character I can like watch grow. It just felt like
it's funny because ironically, I think probably what they were aiming for was trying to make her more like quote unquote realistic. That's the guess that I'm having, is that they were trying to make her more realistic by kind of giving her multi dimensions, right? Like, oh, she's not sure or whatever. But then I feel like if you don't do that well, it just comes off as like really confusing, and like the character is out of character all the time. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what it felt like for sure. Oh, I cannot. Oh my gosh. But
I get that. Okay, but how did you feel about the main male protagonist?
I did not like. Usually, when the male protagonist is having those lovey-dovey moments with like the girl, usually you start to feel like a little bit of not not once did my heart flutter. Not once did I say, "Oh, he's so cool. I like him a lot." I just felt like his character was like stale bread. I felt like there's nothing to him. I liked how they made him into like a kind of I say cold with quotations. It's not quite cold. More like he's very not passionate about his work. He's very strict, I would say.
Right. No, I think I like that part. I think actually my favorite part was like his relationship with his like subordinate.
Right. Oh, I love that. That was cute. That was cute, and it really did feel like he got to see more of that. Like, oh, he's actually views his work as something very important to him. He knows his position, what he has to do. And so I really like that. That he understood what he had to do. His duties. Yeah.
Right. And like very committed, very hardworking.
I love that.
Whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it showed. It showed. But as a male lead in a romance anime, oh, get this guy out of here.
Yeah, I feel like he had his cool moments where I was like, wow, he's so cool. And then sometimes it just felt a little too, like, generally... there's a word I'm looking for where they just kind of went over the top with it. Like, it's just like they're trying to force feed us, like, oh, he's cool, he's handsome. Like, it just felt a little too forceful in what they were trying to do with his character, so...
Right. So, if you were to rate this anime out of 10, what would you call it? Say just from what you watched.
I would say maybe a 7. I didn't hate it though.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't like, oh, I gotta stop. I mean, I went to episode 10. There is some
right. You watched a lot.
Right, and I tend to do that when I'm like, oh, let's just keep it up. Like, I want to see what happens next.
Right.
So I would rate it a solid 6.
Yeah.
It has so much potential, but they did drop the ball parts. Yeah.
I feel like even though I said it was like really depressing and that was what made it hard to watch, I actually feel like that was what made it good though. Like it felt very like you really sympathized for her, and I like that they didn't make her too, what do you call it? She is Mary Sue, but she's also not. You know what I mean? Like she's definitely flawed, and she like understands that she is flawed. And I think that was something I appreciated about it. It was like she does these things because she just has to, and not because of anything else. Not like because oh, I'm such a good person. Like you don't ever really get that from her.
Right. I don't get that either.
Yeah. Which I think the Mary Sue trope sometimes gets really frustrating because they just get like too like, oh, I'm just such a good person and I just want to like make everyone happy. But she doesn't feel that way. She's like definitely like on her own journey trying to figure out what the hell she wants for herself, and she's just doing what she can to like basically survive. And I kind of appreciated that sort of narrative in it for sure.
That's very true, because again, she was forced to live that life for such a long time, and I don't know, but she's like married, different setting. It's not easy just to flip your switch like that. So
right,
it's
for
definitely
sure.
A self-discovery journey for sure. But it was frustrating.
Self-discovery. No, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. In terms of an anime that you were looking forward to or you really enjoyed, I know you mentioned Zom 100.
Yes, I love Zom 100. That was amazing. So I didn't finish at all because I really wanted to watch as much summer anime as I could. I think I got.
Is that one a 12-episode series?
Do you know? I don't recall how many episodes, but I believe it was like 6 episodes, 7 episodes in. And
okay.
It is so good. Wait, did you by chance watch it? Because I know that you and gore is not really a good thing. Like you don't click with gore.
Yeah, so I didn't watch it. My roommate, she watched it though, and she told me that maybe it'd be okay for me to watch it. She mentioned that a lot of the blood and stuff was like hot pink and whatnot, like Danganronpa style.
Right.
So I was like, oh, maybe. But she said she only watched the first episode, so she was like, I'm not sure if that kind of changes as it goes on. So.
Right. So yeah, she is correct that a lot of the blood scenes it is censored to look like paint almost. Because there's hot pink, yellow, green, blues. Like it's really cool. But it still is pretty gory and a little bit, how would I say, over the top with some scenes. And I think they handled this main character so beautifully. So I'll do a quick run through since you didn't watch it much.
Yeah, please.
So basically, the main character, he is what's it called, an office worker? I think it's salary man.
Salary man, yeah.
But he works for a company where everything's like tight deadlines, and in the beginning he was happy to be a newbie. He was really excited to work, but day after day he worked overtime. He has been verbally abused by the boss. He's literally drained of life, and like 2 years later, he's just completely devoid of any like spark.
Just like the real corporate life. I know it too well.
Yeah, exactly. And then finally, one day, of course, he wakes up, it's the zombie apocalypse. And the first thing, what most people would think is like, oh no, what's gonna happen? Like you freak out, or what would you do if all of a sudden you wake up and you look outside your window, zombies everywhere? What would you do?
I would probably, I know this is like really dark, and I think we've kind of mentioned this in our, was it the debut? Was it like the Oracle debut stream? Yeah, I would probably actually quite literally, I would probably kill myself. And this is not just because I'm depressed or whatever. This is like because I feel like the resources are wasted on me, and I know that I won't survive, and I know that I am too mentally fragile too, even if I did survive. Like, I don't think I have the mental constitution to like come out the other end a sane person, I would rather let me just go on my own terms without becoming a zombie, without causing problems for people, without like I'm like shitty at running. People are gonna run. I'm like not gonna be good at running. Like, it's fine. Just leave me to die. It's fine.
Oh my gosh. Well, you heard it here, folks. That's what she would do. No hope whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what about you? What would your response be to a zombie apocalypse? Have you thought about this?
I have thought about it, actually. So my response would be first, like, who can I get in contact with? Who can I like meet up with? Like, is my family close enough? Is my whole neighborhood blocked off where I can't get out of my like area?
Sure.
So after finding out like who I can team up with, if I'm by myself, then I would go ahead and like go through my stock to see what I have. I literally just try to survive, even if I'm not.
Do you think you'd be like a fighter or like a rat? Like, are you holding up, or are you like gonna try to like go out and like look for people and like try to find a shelter?
I feel
like would you risk that?
I would risk it because at that point, my thought process is like, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die fighting,
Right. Makes sense.
I would go out, plan accordingly, and I'm not really smart, and I'm not quick-witted, and I'm not really attentive, but I would try. But it also would depend what kind of zombies, because in movies there's like fast zombies, there's slow zombies,
Sure.
And some zombies, like in this anime, they have both.
Oh, they have like both like fast and slow ones.
Yes, and you know what this dude does when he looks outside his window? He sees all the fast and slow zombies going on. The first thought that comes to his head: I do have to go into work. And he totally blew my mind with how he acted. So basically, he was like, I'm gonna go get beer. I'm gonna, he's living his own La La Land life. Like, I don't know why, but at no point in like the first episode or second episode or so, he was like, I don't want to try. I don't want to. He was just like, la-di-da-di-do. Oh, there's zombies there. Gotta go this way. I want to get beer. Like, live a happy life. Because he finally is free from the corporate, like, grasp, So he finally has that free time.
The shackles are off.
Right. So I think it's kind of crazy how they spun that. Because usually I would think what he would do in that position was like, my life as a corporate slave was terrible, and now my life is like useless now. I would just die, But
right.
He was just like, yeah, vacay, I can do whatever I want. And then so as he goes on throughout like the episodes, he starts to make a bucket wish list of things he wants to do before he turns into a zombie. So it's not like he's not trying trying to survive. More like he wants to experience life as much as he can before he kicks
Before
the
he
bucket.
dies.
And so that's why the anime is called Psalm 100, is that he has 100 bucket list items he wants to do before he passes away. So
Can you give me like an example of like what's on that list?
Yes, and one example, it's right in the beginning, or actually this one's funnier. One example is that he always wanted to go on a, what's it called? Those dates where you're like matched up with other people. You just kind of go and like.
Oh, like a gokun, like a group date. Yeah,
He was going with flight attendants. What? What? And next thing you know, he's in an episode where he's trapped in an aquarium with his friend and like these other girls, and they're talking, and they're like, "Wait, by chance, are you?" And like, "Yo, yeah, we're flight attendants." And they're like, "Whoa!" And it's
That's funny.
It's so goofy. This anime is so goofy, yet so like deep in its own way, because like.
Right.
You're in the zombie apocalypse. You're finally, talking more about your true feelings. There's nothing holding you back, So I do recommend it. The gore is pretty censored. I think it's more obscure with some fighting scenes and stuff like that. But I do hope you just try like 2 episodes. And if it's really not your cup of tea, totally understand. But it's really good. I love it so far. I love it. That's 10 out of 10.
Maybe I will try it out. It's funny because even like you kind of explaining that story to me and kind of exactly after me saying like, oh yeah, I would just kill myself. It definitely made me like think, it made me think a little bit more like, oh, maybe he has something like going for him in a way too, right? Like that makes a lot of sense too, to kind of like, oh, why, you're gonna die anyway. You might as well like just go out and do the things that you enjoy and whatnot. So yeah,
it was.
I don't know. Maybe it'll change my mind on how I would think that I would process a zombie apocalypse. Maybe I would treat it like him and just drink myself to death or something.
Right. And I really love the main character. He's really lovable. He's a very lovable character. So yeah, definitely 10 out of 10. I would say so far. Which is really weird for me to say. Usually like 9 or 8, but.
Okay, can you give me an example of like another anime that you would rate 10 out of 10 though? So that we know the scale.
Oh, okay.
Because 10 out of 10 is like a really high mark, right? Like if you say like 6 out of 10, like sure, we kind of get the idea. But if we're talking about like 10 out of 10, like how high is that? Is that like, I mean, obviously that means that it's like the best, right? It's like one of the best series that you've seen.
I don't know why, but I really loved it so far. But JoJo, 10 out of 10 anime is example.
Okay, so it would like stand up there with JoJo.
Yeah, I don't know why. I really enjoyed the characters. I really did. And the pacing of the story was not really, I didn't look away from the screen,
Right.
You kind of glance around when you're like kind of like fidgety for a scene, like, okay, what happens next? But I was glued to my seat, enjoying it. I wasn't like, that was what JoJo made me feel. I was just there and happy. So yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. I'll definitely have to check it out. I mean, like that's like a really high rating, right? That's like, that means it's really in your top.
It really was one of my tops.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, really great characters. Yeah. But
interesting.
Oh, how about anime that you have watched? Let's start there. Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'll try to think about something good that I watched. The one good anime, well, maybe this is a little bit of a spoiler if I say it like that, but basically the only good anime that I watched this season was Undead Murder Farce. Did you end up watching that one at all?
I watched one episode and I love it so much.
Right? Isn't it so good?
I'm so mad. That wasn't one of the first anime I started watching before the stream, because I ended up watching it like yesterday.
Oh no, you didn't have time.
It was so the fact that the first episode was so good, the art was beautiful,
the animation was insane.
Right, the opening not bad, and the main guy character who's half Oni, half human, correct?
Yes.
Oh,
he's your type, isn't he?
He's funny and he has muscles.
Oh my god. It gets better too. You've only watched one episode, right?
Only one, but I was like trying so hard to like not like lose time.
Like binge it all.
I was like, okay, I only have time for one episode and see if I have time tomorrow. I watched Megamind today. I should have watched that second episode.
Oh, you should have. Because
So good.
I feel like the first episode is very much a setup, and then the second episode on is kind of when you understand, like, okay, this is gonna be like the format of the series. It's very it's supposed to kind of imitate Sherlock Holmes, and they even bring up Sherlock Holmes in the series. It's basically like a series of detective like stories, murder mysteries.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, and so the reason why it's called Undead Murder Farce is like undead is referring to the girl, right? The girl in the cage.
Right.
And then the murder is that they're solving a murder, and the farce is that the murder is not what it seems.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's kind of what the title is referring. And she'll like break it. She'll like explain that to you in the show as well. It's funny because I was watching a couple of these shows, and I remember at one point I was watching some of them with my roommate, and some of them I was watching them alone. But she and I made this comment where we were like, man, nowadays anime is just like so well animated. It's just so good. And we would, every time we watch something, we'd be like, wow, it's so good. It's so good. And I kind of stopped and I thought like, maybe I should stop saying that because they're all good. And then I watched more of these anime and I was like, no. No, not all of these are good. Like the animation quality I'm talking about. I'm not talking just purely animation quality.
Sure.
Yeah, like despite the story, we're talking like pure animation quality. There were so many where I was watching and I was just like, wow, these are so good. And I was like, maybe this is just like the new standard. But then I see some of these other ones and I'm like, no, never mind. This is not the new standard.
Oh my gosh, girl, for real. Oh, yes.
But okay, on that note though, Undead Murder Farce is very, it has that sort of aesthetic, sort of noir-y vibe to it, old-timey, that I think they play a lot with the graphics and I think something that was so impressive about Undead Murder Farce is the animation direction and the camera movement is insane.
Oh my gosh, yes. And I only watched one episode, but I totally enjoyed the beginning where they had like the words on the screen. Like he was bending down to look under a curtain, but on top was like the text, like the whole like camera movements. It was so cinematic almost. Like actually,
it's very cinematic.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first episode is the best in this regard. Like the second and third episode feel more like a regular anime. They don't go into that as much. They're still really good though. But the first episode, some of those like camera pans or like the cuts that they would do where they would cut the screen in half or like, move things around, like that was insane. So good. Incredibly cinematic. Just felt like watching a movie. It just felt really just amazingly done for sure.
Yes, and for the character designs, they're beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like I really like how they had her head in like a bird cage. How beautiful.
Right,
is
with the like veil on top, and the veil is like kind of translucent. Was very cool.
It's so elegant. I love it. And how her hair is kind of wound up around her too. It's like, I just thought it was really beautiful. Really, really cool.
I think in the later episodes, I've only watched up until episode 3, but like the second and third episode, they have a lot of scenes where it's like her perspective from inside the cage. So you just see the cage and the veil, and like it's very like translucent. So you see the people on the other side, but they're kind of like hard to see, I thought just the shots like that and whatnot, they really made use of the character designs and stuff. It doesn't feel like, they just designed these characters and like just to look cool. It's like they kind of put all this like cool stuff in it too that like makes more sense and whatnot.
Right. Oh, wow. Oh,
yeah.
my gosh.
It was definitely the best anime that I saw of the list that we're going to go through today. That being said, I feel like the murder mystery aspect of it, I know you haven't like watched the actual like solution of like the murder and the case and whatever. I think they were kind of going for, like I said, a Sherlock Holmesy / like, I always will kind of relate it back to Phoenix Wright, since I feel like Phoenix Wright did it so well. Have you played the games for Phoenix Wright?
I haven't, but I did see a lot from my big
okay,
brother
we talked about this, I think, actually. You've played Tears of Themis though, right?
Yeah.
Because Tears of Themis is like basically they just they were replicating Phoenix Wright except with more
I
like
heard. Yeah.
With more like dating sim aspects. But Phoenix Wright does a lot of stuff, and I think one of the best parts about Phoenix Wright, besides the gameplay and whatnot, is that every murder mystery is very clever, and it has a lot of twists and turns where you're like, who is it? Who could it be? Wait, I thought it was this person, but it's this person, you know. The Undead Murder Farce solution to the mystery, the like culprits that like kind of comes out at the end, the conclusion, it was not like super interesting in my opinion. It was very realistic though, which is fine. I think I had my expectations were kind of set a bit high because of my background with stuff like Phoenix Wright, but I think you have to go in knowing like, okay, it's just gonna be pretty straightforward. Like it is what it is. There's no like crazy twists and turns. I mean, it's like a slight twist, but it's not anything like too unpredictable. Like you probably could have seen it coming, you know, as it's happening. Yeah. Which is it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that like in storytelling that doesn't necessarily make it a bad story. I just think like you have to set your expectations for that sort of thing, right? That's like not what they're trying to do with the story, is what I'm saying, I guess. Yeah. So I don't know. It's very interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see how they go with it. I feel like my guess is that half of the series is gonna be these like murder mysteries, and then the second half, kind of like you know how like the first half of One Punch Man is just like silly stuff, and then the second half of One Punch Man or Mob Psycho is more like, oh, this is the main story, and then they kind of like go into a base, and then they have to. So I think that's what they're building up towards. Yeah, so that it'll be interesting to see how this kind of concludes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm definitely, I'm gonna watch that through and through because it was so good on the first episode, and the fact that I remember like most of it, it's something to look forward to for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And if you listeners, if you have not checked it out yet, definitely like Meeta recommended Zom 100. My recommendation for this season is gonna be Undead Murder Farce. So that's the one that I would suggest people to watch. Rating, I would give it a 9 out of 10.
Oh, yay, baby. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I don't know. I would say between an 8 and a 9. I feel like if it had more like twists and turns with the murder stuff, maybe I would have liked it more, and then I would have given it a 9. But right now it's like a between an 8 and 9. But I'll bump it up to a 9 just because everything else was so bad.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I can't.
It's like in the sea of all of these other shit series, like, you know, maybe it feels better than it actually was. I don't know. I'll have to finish it, so we'll have to see.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we will have to see. How many episodes again?
I think I don't know how many are out, but I've only seen 3. I don't know if it's going to be a 12 episode series or a 24 episode series. I'm not sure.
I guess as one of those anime, I hope it has 24 episodes because I can see a lot of potential. I see a lot of potential.
I agree, especially because one murder case took 2 episodes. So if that's the pace that they're going to do it at, I feel like it might need those 24 episodes to really like flesh it out. But nowadays, I feel like it's really rare to see 24 episode animes, actually. I know.
It's usually 13 now. 12, 13.
Yeah, I think 12 or 13 is like just industry standard now. It used to not be like that, but nowadays it feels that way.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and
then you have to wait for the next season, you know.
Yeah, like, but you know, honestly, personally, I prefer the like quality over quantity approach anyway.
Oh, most definitely. If they
like I'd rather them take a break and have the animation still look nice and good, and also have no filler episodes. Like filler episodes really killed me. But I will say that it definitely does kill the like hype for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I totally understand that. I do hope that. Oh wait. Oh shoot. I'm sorry. My whole train of thought went totally off track.
No. Do you have any? Let me do it again.
I was thinking about.
Do you have any?
It has 24 episodes. Sorry. Yeah, continue. Sorry.
I was gonna say, do you have any series where the first season ended and we had to wait for a second season, like a more modern series, not an old one, and it kind of made you lose interest, and by the time the second season came out or is about to come out, you're kind of like not into it anymore?
Most definitely. So there was this so Osamasa-san, one of my top anime.
Oh,
the second season and the third season had a really big gap. So second season, it was successful. It was amazing. They produced a movie and everything. Actually, they're producing a couple right now. Or they already did right now, but they didn't translate it yet. But when the third season rolled around, I wasn't excited. Like I didn't jump on it. And like when I did jump on it, It was the worst season ever. It was terrible.
Really?
I only think about Osama-san season 1 and 2 now. This third season, they totally flopped with it. And that's an anime-only series, too. So it really hurt my heart.
Oh, yeah. I
How
can
about
see
you?
that. I feel like right now I'm a bit in limbo with Spy Family and Blue Lock. Because Spy Family, I really enjoyed the first season a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the tail end of it anyway, and maybe that contributed to it. I wasn't like super into the tail end of it. And then just now, I think this past week, the second season just came out.
Yeah.
So the second season's finally here, but I'm kind of like I don't know if I want. I mean, I'll watch it. I will watch it, but it's just I'm not like super excited about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So like the first season, I was like, oh my god, I can't wait for the next episode. I can't wait for the next episode. But like now, I'm just kind of like, eh. I feel like Blue Lock is another one where Blue Lock was a 24 episode series. It might even be longer than 20. I feel like it's 24 though. It's a 24 episode series, but it really suffered from it being a 24 episode series because the last couple episodes are fucking awful in terms of animation quality and also pacing. It's just really bad.
Oh,
I don't know why they decided to do this. And also the season 1 and 2 cliffhanger for Blue Lock is also not interesting. Like I don't care.
It was actually
it's just like yeah, because like normally, you know, the cliffhanger is like, oh, what's gonna happen? But this is like, all right, they're fighting a bunch of people in like an exhibition match that doesn't really matter that much, and like I don't even know who any of these people are. They introduce these people, they start playing soccer against them, and then they kind of like cut it there, and I'm like, okay, wait, like what? That's it. Like what's going on? Yeah, like what's happening? So that was one where, now I'm also like, I don't know about season 2. But I feel like, I wonder if Blue Lock would have done better if they had separated it to the first 12 episodes and then worked on the second half of season 1 and made that a season 2 instead, if that would have been better. I don't know. But Blue Lock animation is really bad.
Oh, no. Yeah, I haven't started Blue Lock yet, but I really have to, though.
It's good. I really enjoy the series a lot.
It's like that's one of like the top couple of animes I haven't watched yet, but everybody loves it. You know, like Skate to Infinity. I still haven't watched that. I'm so surprised.
Oh, my roommate loves Skate.
Yeah, I have no idea why I haven't started it yet, but I just haven't yet. Yeah, I'm excited though.
Well, I mean, there's just so much anime to watch, so I understand. Well, Skate's also, I didn't watch Skate. I watched the first episode and that's about it. But my roommate really likes Skate. And the second season for that is actually coming out soon, so you can definitely, you can start catching up if you'd like as well.
Oh yeah, that's good timing then. Yeah, I love it.
All right, to jump to now, we have a list of bad anime.
I'm so excited. Did you see my little note there?
That one, okay. That one I have the most complaints about, but we're not gonna go to that one first. We're gonna go to ones that we thought were like mid first, which. For me was this is not bad, but I just thought it was mid. Was Sweet Reincarnation?
Oh,
did you watch that one?
I did. I watched 3 episodes of it. Yeah, I
think I also watched 3 episodes. I want to say that I watched 3. Where does what does the 3rd episode stop at?
Oh gosh, I remember that is like after like the village was like raided.
Oh, saved.
It's after it was saved. I remember he was talking. It wasn't that memorable. It was really.
No, it really wasn't.
But the only thing that was really memorable is that 2 things. One, the father's name was Casserole. And then
all of the pastry names were so bad.
It was the main character's name is Pastry, and they all call him Pace. I'm like, what? And
that was weird.
Yeah, the dad's name being Father Casserole. I just couldn't. It was so goofy. But the second thing that was memorable about that anime was like the freaking like magic coronation scene. So a lot of magic anime where they have like, oh, at age 10 or 13, you unlock your power, come see the priest, etc., kind of feel, right?
Oh, that was like weird because they like threw him in like a dungeon and like did like sensory deprivation for like 2 whole days. Yeah, that was weird.
Tied to a chair, made him drink something nasty. A little kid, and the priest guy was like, "Oh, he has to stay there until it actually happens." And then the father, like, you know, when he came and opened the door, he was like, "You did a good job, Pace. Like, good job." Like, what? The first thing would be like, "Are you okay? Do you need to go to the bathroom? Like, do you need to?"
Yeah. It was weird because he literally came out. He was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I have magic now," and you're like,
I was like, "What?"
But okay, I don't know if you got to that part. I think it must be because I think I watched 3 or 4 episodes as well. There was like a part where it's like the whole thing is that his magic power is that he can copy anyone's power.
Replicate.
Or he could just copy anything in general.
Right,
and then the whole thing is like, you can't let anybody know because you're like have this insane OP power. I was like, oh no. I think that was when I was like, nah, I can't watch this. This is like, up until then I was kind of like, all right, it's okay. It's like random. Like him having his whole like pastry chef thing doesn't contribute anything.
Not at all.
And it's like weird, but it doesn't contribute at all. But what's weirder about it is that like they always talk about like, oh, Pace, you're like so smart. You have all these military tactics. I'm like, yeah, how does he have these military tactics? It's not like being a pastry chef would have like taught him military tactics.
It did
like,
not tie anything together.
No, I think it would have been more interesting if like he beat the bad guys or something somehow with like pastries or like he made a field of meringue or something and they got caught in the meringue and they were like, why is it so like sticky? Like, I don't know. You know, like it should have tied into that, but it didn't. And that was like really weird. That was what was weird about it to me.
100%. And like, I think I get a really big satisfied feeling when they reincarnate any anime, when they reincarnate. And they bring stuff from their other world. So in like most cases, like food, like, oh, I can make this for you. Oh, what's ice cream? Or oh, what's at the end of episode 3, they ate the pie. They're like, oh, it's good. And
that's the apple pie. Yeah, it was just like, oh yeah, I'm making you an apple pie, and then that was literally like it. It was just like,
there was no big revelation. What was the point? Wow, like this cake is amazing, or never done before. Yeah. Or oh, it gave me like some power up. Nothing. Yeah. It's just like la 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 la.
Also, another thing that really fucking tilted me was that bit where like his 2 friends, the one that like releases the bad guy.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
I literally okay. First of all, why the fuck? Okay, first of all, that bandit leader, he already had untied himself, so there was like. He didn't even have to do anything, really. Like, it was just to show you how dumb this fucking kid was. That was the only thing. And then, like, 2, his whole, like, the girl going, oh, you shouldn't talk to him. And him go, I'm going to talk to him anyway. I'm like, oh, my God. And now, literally, everyone is in danger because this bandit guy knows that Pace has the duplicate ability. Yeah, and like I'm like, all right, this is like the dumbest plot device. Like it would have been one thing if Pace had to use it on that guy and he didn't realize that his power was special or something, and then the guy got away somehow. Like that would have been a lot better, but the fact that it's because of his friend and his friend is just like
whoopsie.
Like yeah, like oh like I'm sorry, I guess. And then like and then everyone's like, nah, it's fine. You didn't do a bad thing. I'm like, yes, I did.
You just this whole village is in danger.
The fact that the dad is like, I hope you guys get married. I'm like, what?
I saw that. I was like, guys, what? This is not the time or the place. We're not gonna talk about what really happened. What's really going on? Oh my gosh.
I think that must have been the 3rd episode because we both watched it.
That was
and
the
I was
3rd
like,
episode. Yep.
Like I can't watch this. No more of this. I'm not watching this one.
Yeah.
But okay, up until then though, I didn't mind it. Up until then, I was like, you know, it's fine, whatever. I'll enjoy the fact that he has all this military knowledge for no fucking reason. Like it's fine. Like I'll give it a pass. But no, that was like I was like, nah, ain't no way.
Right. And yeah, again, they did not play that questionable idea of him being really strong, knight stuff. Like if he was doing like martial arts in his past, kendo, judo, whatever.
Yeah, that would have been really interesting.
Right, but Doug was making sugar, like pastry stuff.
Literally a
like,
pastry chef.
A pastry,
Yeah.
yeah, they did not really play into it these the whole 3 episodes. They just talked about him like thinking about it, and that's it.
Right.
Bruh.
He thinks about it a lot, which is like almost annoying at this point, right? Because he hasn't done anything with it besides literally bake an apple pie to like try to get his friends to be friends again, especially after one of them literally costs everyone their lives. Like, yeah, I'd be fucking pissed at him too. Like, are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh, for real. Oh, it's ridiculous. But yeah, so far 3 episodes in, I rate it, a solid 5 is mid. It's mid.
Yeah, I think 5 is a good number for it. Very mid. It's like, it's definitely less offensive than some of the other ones we're gonna talk about.
Oh my gosh, girl. Yeah.
But okay, wait. I have one that caveats really well from this one. I have one that caveats really well. So the one that I have that had a similar thing that annoyed me was the Great Cleric. I don't know if you watched that one. Did you watch
That's
that
the only one I didn't watch on your list.
Okay, so that one is... I also watched 3 episodes of that one. That one is like a very typical isekai where it's like, oh, this guy is like also an office worker. He's like a salaryman. He's been like, not doing so hot with his job. He's not a salesman, but he has to like go to different companies and sell them something, right? Basically.
Okay.
And right before he gets his first ever sale and he's gonna get promoted and he's like all excited, he like dies. And he dies by, it's so weird because they made it really dramatic for no reason, but like some guy is at the police station and he steals one of the police officer's guns and like shoots the police officer and then shoots the guy, which is, yeah, like very already like what
very
the fuck
extra
is going on?
way
But
to go out. Huh?
yeah, like you couldn't just have him hit by a car. Anyway, like none of it matters though because this guy gets reincarnated, but he's one of the few that gets reincarnated back as an adult. So he doesn't start from like being a child.
Right.
His whole thing is like he's already all grown up, but he got to choose his stats. And so he gets to be he chooses to be a cleric because he feels like, I don't remember. I think he was like, oh, it seems like an easy job or something like that. And so he goes into the city, and this is like the first instance, right? And this is just like so stupid. They're like, oh, can you show us identification? And he's like, oh shit, I don't have an ID card because I wasn't technically born here. So he tells them, he uses his like quote unquote business negotiation skills to like weasel his way in to the city. But it's literally him just going, I'm sorry, I don't have an identification card, sir. Like him just being polite. Like he's like, I don't have an identification card because I'm like from like I'm like a country bumpkin, but I'm a healer and I'm looking for work and I promise I'll work really hard. And then they're like, okay, sure, you can come in. Like and like the whole thing about this thing is that he's using his like quote unquote business skills, and that's what's getting him like far in this world. But all he's doing is literally being polite to people.
Oh my!
And like
no strategy,
talking
just
to
polite.
people. Yeah. So like the girl takes him to like the cleric, like guild or whatever, and they're like, oh, where are you from? And he's like, oh, and he has to like make up a thing like, oh, I don't know what cities are. I'm sorry. Like the town that I was from is like such a country bumpkin town that like we didn't even have a name for our city. I just called it like town. And then like that apparently is like his quote unquote business finesse that allowed them to believe him or something.
Are you kidding me?
Well, okay, I think it'd be fine if they just were like, oh, he's just using his wits. But the fact that they keep trying to make it like, they'll literally put a label under it in text saying business face on or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
Trying to make it seem like this whole thing where he's
only he can
using
do it,
his yeah, like he's using this crazy ability that he has from his past life. But it's literally just being like
good
polite.
social skills.
Yeah, literally just having social skills. Like it's just like very, very, very strange. And then like it just has like so the general premise is that all the clerics in this world are like today, like the what we dislike about America's healthcare system, essentially. So the clerics of that world has become America's healthcare system, where they charge everyone up the ass for healthcare. Right. Yeah. So they're like, oh, there's not that many clerics in the world, so we're gonna just charge you a fucking arm and a leg, and if you can't afford it, then you can die. And so his whole thing is, I'm not gonna be like the clerics of this world. I'm gonna be different, which is an interesting premise. I don't think that's a bad premise, but it has nothing to do with him being a salaryman.
Yeah, what is his motivation to be that
there was
way?
no, like, I think that would have been interesting if, like, the way that he died or something had something to do with him trying to save somebody. And so now he's like, oh, I'm going to save everybody because I couldn't save somebody, or because I couldn't be saved. I don't know.
Something like, oh, I was a businessman at work, but like my wife was sick at home. She passed away, whatever. So
Yeah. Like
Something.
Anything. But there's nothing. It's just, he's like, I just want to be a good guy. That's his like number one thing. And then number two thing is my business experience has just given me social skills. Like that's all he had. So it just ruins this completely interesting premise, which is like America's healthcare system in this fantasy world. And it's just random. It just feels random now.
Oh my god.
Right? Because this guy is just why you have no motivations to do anything. And then like it's also poorly animated, very poorly animated. This is one of the very few series that I saw that was just like had bad animation quality. It has he's also like really Gary Sue, so he's like really good at everything. He's like a genius cleric. Like, normally people take like 50 years to get to the point that he got to in like 2 weeks or whatever, which is fine. That's like all of these isekai premises. But on top of that, he's like a super good guy that like wants to heal everyone for free because that's just the kind of guy he is. Like, wow, what a great guy. Like that's it's just like so boring.
No, right, because you want them to have like motivation. You want them to actually be like okay, so for example, he could have been like, maybe I could charge them like something that they could afford, and I can keep my business running, and while I keep my business running, I can help other people at affordable rates, not just be like, everybody happy.
Yeah. Literally, he's just like, I'm gonna be the one that changes everything, and I'm gonna give free healthcare for everyone who needs it, and like stuff like that.
At the end of the day, that's not gonna help much at all.
No. And then like, it has like no stakes, so it's just what's like. So there's this part in the anime where he's healing a bunch of people, and then he runs out of MP, so he like faints, right? Yeah. But like, the way that they frame it is like the people who he's healing are like, oh my god, he's gonna die. So you're like, oh shit, is he gonna die? But then he just wakes up the next day. Bruh. And he's like, oh, I overdid my mana usage. And then he like is back at it again. And I'm like, what is this? What are the stakes? There's no stakes. No one cares about any, like, he has people who are like, oh, you were up for a good cause, so we're gonna like give you housing and we're gonna give you all this stuff because we believe in you. So it's not like he has like any sort of like stake of what's happening. Right. He has no stakes in terms of like personal stakes. Like, it's not like, I need to avenge my wife who died. There's no sort of personal stake involved. It's just, I'm just a nice guy that's helping out people, I guess. And that's just all it is.
Oh my god. Is that like, I had to survive in this new world, so I need to make an income. Okay, I'll become a doctor that can like, be very affordable and like talk to like maybe the lower class who can like, this and that, like we talked about. And maybe like, oh my god, it's so weird. That's so weird.
It is weird. It's just so very, and like the whole thing is not even like, he saw people who needed help and he helped them. It was like, he saw people who needed help, but they were like assholes to him because they were like, oh, fuck you, you're a cleric. And his reaction is basically like, I'm gonna help you anyway because that's the kind of person I am. It's like too Gary Sue, just too boring. Like, no, just no depth in it whatsoever. Just, all right, I guess he's just a really nice guy. It also tries really hard to be funny. I don't even remember how, like, that's how bad it was. I don't remember them trying to be funny. I just wrote, it's not funny. That's all I wrote.
No.
But it tries really hard to like put in like silly, like funny moments, but none of it's funny. It has that like weird isekai trope of like every girl is hot, and he like keeps mentioning how every girl is like really hot.
Like, wow,
and he's like really, Yeah, like he's like, oh, why is everyone in this world so hot? But they're like not even that cute because they're not well drawn because the animation is bad. And then it just makes him seem like horny for no reason.
Oh my god.
Which doesn't add to anything.
Is the ad right? It doesn't like feel like it should even add to his personality at all.
Because I think it would be funny if like that's his one vice is like, you know, he's like Sanji or something, where he just like is in love with girls or something, and the only reason why he's healing people is because he just wants to get laid. Like that would be a funny, interesting premise, right?
That should be a premise. Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's just like, oh, he's Gary Sue, and there's a bunch of hot girls. Like, okay, I guess. Like, what is that? Why? Like, this isn't contributing to anything, I guess.
Yeah, guys. No, girls never want the nice guys, y'all.
Yeah.
No, we want.
Well, not Meeta.
I want some death in them. I want some death. A motivation.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we like, you know, or if he's a nice guy, we want it to be like his motivation's because of something that happened to him that makes it more realistic, not just like, because he is quote unquote a nice guy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I feel like the show in general struggled from like a really strong feeling of like it doesn't know what it wants to be. Like it doesn't know if it wants to be a feel-good series. It doesn't know if it wants to be like a horny self-insert series. It doesn't know if it wants to be a funny series. Like it just feels like really bland and has like no color in it.
Oh no.
And like all of the businessman parts where it's like, oh, like the businessman mode or whatever that I was mentioning earlier.
Yeah.
I feel like those are supposed to be funny, but like you were saying, it's just the display of social skills, so it just doesn't feel interesting or funny to me. Like it's like, all right, so he can talk to people, great.
Right, it's not extraordinary.
What are you trying to convince me of? I guess the only thing that they convince me is that only business people apparently know how to talk to people. Everyone else is shit at talk. They have no social skills and don't know how to communicate with normal people.
Yeah. Oh my god. Wow.
I don't know.
That's pretty bad. That's not great. Well, then what would you rate it then?
Man. I'm trying to look at the list. I'm trying to look at this list.
I know it goes down from here. I just know.
Because it goes down. Yeah, like this is like one of the better ones of the really bad ones. Maybe I want to say it's between a 3 or a 4. It's gonna depend on how we rate the other ones, but I want to say it's a 3 or a 4.
Yeah, that does not sound anything above a
4. 3. I'm gonna give it a 3.
It sounds good. It sounds reasonable.
I'm committing. Yeah, I'm committing to the 3. Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, definitely a huge, massive skip for me. That was really awful.
Well, actually, an anime that was actually a little bit better than a 4, maybe better than a 5. I would say actually maybe a 6. Was the Masterful Cat is depressed again today? Have you watched that?
Really?
I kind of enjoyed it.
I watched 2 episodes of this one.
I watched 3. Yeah. Okay.
I watched 2 episodes. It's unfortunate because I actually my friend saw the premise for this anime, I guess, and then was like, oh my god, Leora, it's literally the anime for you. Like it's made for you. It's like about like an office worker who has like depression or whatever, and then it has like a cat that takes care of her, and you like cats, and you are that office worker, you know. And so I was really excited. Did you ever watch the Cocktail one? Oh shit.
Cocktail.
It's a cocktail anime.
Well, DM that to me. What the heck?
I don't remember the name of the anime, but my roommate and I watched this and we fucking loved it. It was another very Love is Like a Cocktail.
Wait. I watched it. Wait, was it with the husband and wife and the woman is like she's blonde hair?
Yeah, like I think the Japanese title has something to do with like no one else knows my wife is this cute or something.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, I think I watched the whole anime. It's like 12 episodes or so. It was like short.
It's like 12 but each episode is like 5 minutes long or something.
Yeah. I did watch that actually. That was a while back. It was like
it was
a couple of years ago. But not old.
Yeah, well, my roommate and I watched it this year, but yeah, it's an older one. So I thought that this series was gonna be similar to that one because the word I was looking for earlier, by the way, was gratuitous. I feel like Love Like a Cocktail was very gratuitous in terms of pandering to the female fantasy, right?
Right.
Girl works
He's taking
hard
care
all
of
day
her.
long.
Yeah.
She's super cool, but she comes home and her flaw is that she is actually she's actually not cool. She's kind of dumb and she's kind of silly. And
right.
the only one that she can show that version of herself to is her husband. And she only gets that way when she drinks. So, and her husband happens to be a bartender, so he makes her drinks every night. And every episode is a different cocktail. And they kind of
the ingredients and like...
Yeah, they tell you how to make it.
Right.
It shows you like snippet of their life. And it's just like a generally wholesome, feel-good series.
It was good.
That I really enjoyed. And it has that sort of feeling of like, oh, it's very gratuitous. I feel like the Masterful Cat is Depressed Again today was kind of trying to be that. But to me, it fell a little short because one, I think the suspension of disbelief was a little like too rough for me. Like, I feel like they should have just not made it like a point where she kind of talks about like, oh, like I have this giant cat and like no one else knows that I have this giant cat and our cat's normally supposed to be this big. Like, I just felt like it was a little bit like, okay, I guess, but it is what it is, right? Like,
brush it off.
Right, and the cat's also like fucking cooking for you and whatnot. Like, it's just very, you know. It also had a lot of that sort of, oh, like you'll never get married, or oh, you'll be a good wife, like that sort of stuff. I'm like, okay, I guess, like, why do we have to make that the point of this, of what's happening though? You know? So I wasn't like super into it. It just also felt like she just felt like lazy.
I see what you mean. Actually, I would say so too.
Like, I feel like Love Like a Cocktail, she's not lazy. She's like
a hard worker. She's exhausted.
She's a hard worker. She's doing all this stuff, and her husband is just a house husband. Like, that's his job. His job is a stay-at-home husband. Right. So that's why it makes sense. But in this one, it's more like she'll like throw a fit if he like doesn't do stuff for her.
Yeah.
She's a little bit whiny. Like, yeah, I was like, you're kind of ungrateful.
Ungrateful. Yeah, she does feel that way a lot. like she deserves these things, or she because she gets him like the food and the payment. For her as a whole, like, character was not really drawn to her. I also hated her hair.
Right.
I hated her hair so much.
I don't even remember what her hair was.
I hate her design.
I didn't like the art style, I guess.
I see. But I think I would say it was a solid like 5-6 for the cat itself. Because like I think it was pretty humorous at times because you just hear like this deep man voice. But he doesn't actually talk to her.
Right, it's like his thoughts, right?
His thoughts, and only like talks through her through actions and the such. And,
Right.
And at times I see that he's like really cat-like. But at other times, like I see him like sipping hot tea, but cats really don't they have a cat's tongue where they can't really
hot drinks and stuff?
Yeah, like where does it fall between a cat and human? Like I don't know.
Right, I agree. Like they didn't draw that line very clearly. Like him being able to, like cook and whatnot, or like him being able to, do things. But then him also having like certain cat things that he liked to do or didn't like to do. It just felt a little like, I don't know.
Right. It kind of felt awkward at times. It almost felt like the story, the author almost wanted us to ship them to almost at sometimes. It was weird because at sometimes it was like, because like I won't have a husband, and she immediately looks at him, at the freaking cat.
That's weird.
And the timing and stuff like that, it just felt like they're trying to make us be like, oh, we love him, like we don't want her to have a husband. Like it kind of felt weird at times. I don't know.
Like I said, I just wish that they didn't make that like such a point. Like they kept bringing it up. That was really weird.
I hated it because it really did feel like they're trying to force us to be like, no, she just needs him. I'm like, okay. Okay.
Yeah. No, I agree. A little weird.
It could have been cute slice of life. The animation quality, beautiful though.
Oh, animation quality was amazing. Incredible.
The angles and everything, like.
Yes.
But girl, let me tell you, the first episode where it had like 3 like 3 minutes and like 20 something seconds of just like day-to-day like life like scenes. Like it wasn't like her doing anything for 3 and like 20 seconds, 3 minutes and 20 seconds. It was just like
how you
scenes of
counted.
car. I was so livid because like I was just sitting there waiting. I was like waiting, and it was just cars, people walking, like daily bustle. Like I understand doing that for like a minute or maybe even a minute and a half. It was 3 minutes and 26 seconds, if I recall. And it felt like they dragged that out for no reason. Like they wasted all that budget in that one scene. What is that? But
I feel like with the first episode, so there were 2 series that I had to stop. Well, there's a couple. This is one of the ones where in the first episode I had to just stop. Like I couldn't watch it all the way through, and I had to come back to it later and just finish it. Because I was like so like, oh god, I really don't like enjoy this.
Right.
It's a little boring, a little like too, you know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I agree though.
It has a lot of potential, but unfortunately, I feel like the direction they're going in and the character herself is just, yeah. But that's why it's like a solid like 5.5. I would say 6. So
Yeah, you know what? I would also probably give it a 5 though. You're right. I'd probably give it a 5. It's mid.
Yeah,
I could see myself watching it. It's not offensive. It doesn't make me frustrated or angry like some of the other ones do.
Right,
But just like, not really my vibe.
Very mid. Yeah.
I would much rather watch Love Like a Cocktail. Like that was so good.
That's a cute anime. I watched it in one go.
It is a really good
anime.
anime.
It was really good. Yeah. And the
So
fact that I
if
still
people are
remember
looking for something similar, highly recommend that one instead.
Definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
All right, now we have to go into the ones that actually make us upset.
Oh no.
It's that time. Okay, but in these, I have 2 that make me less upset. Oh, we also have Mashal on here. I don't know if you want to talk about Mashal, because I know you liked Mashal. That was the season, right? That was summer 2023?
I didn't see it on the list. So when I saw you put it down, I'm like, really? It really was summer? Really?
Maybe it wasn't. I saw someone mention it earlier, so that's why I thought.
Yeah, I don't remember it being in the summer list at all, but like, I love it. But let's definitely talk about the
not so good ones.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be really fun to start arguing about it.
Okay, well, we'll go down in like general list of what I thought was like okay, maybe like 5-ish. We have 2. The 2 that I have were, the first one is Am I Actually the Strongest? Did you watch that one?
I don't think I did actually. Am I actually the strongest? Let me double check.
That one's the one where the guy, he has like his power level can't be measured by normal it's under Isekai, but his power level can't be measured by the normal human index, so they think that he's really weak when he's actually like too strong, so it's not showing up on the power
classic
index.
Yeah. I did not actually watch this anime. Can you tell me more about how it was like
this one, actually I really liked it, and I think I watched like 5 or 6 episodes, which is a lot, because the other ones, you know, I was watching 3 episodes like everything, so this is like, you know, if I watched up to 5 or 6, it means I really liked it. But my biggest issue was the wolf girl. So basically what happens is this guy gets reincarnated, and then the goddess is like, I feel bad for you. I don't even remember how he dies, but the goddess is like, I feel bad for you, so I'll give you extra. Oh, he dies like a neat. He was like a neat. And so the goddess is like, I'll give you another chance, so I'll make you super strong. But like the human magic index only goes up to 2 digits. But his magic power is like 3 or 4 digits. And that's why when they see his power, it only shows up at 2, whereas he actually has like 1,002 or something like that.
Like uncalculable, or like you can't read it.
Yeah, basically. And then so that's how it starts. And as a baby, he gets thrown away because he's born the prince from like the king and the queen. But they see his magic power and they're like, oh, we can't have this child as a prince because he's too weak. So they throw him out. And in the middle of the woods, this wolf shows up. And the wolf basically is like gonna try to eat him. But then he uses his magic, which is like really OP and super strong. Basically, he also has like magic where he can just literally do whatever the fuck he wants. That's his magic. He can literally do anything. But it's not as annoying in this one. It feels like more balanced because even though he can do everything, like the motivations make sense in this one. So his whole thing is like he just wants to live a quiet life because he just wants to like sit and play games and watch anime all day long. So he's like really excited about having OP powers because finally he can live his life of doing nothing because he's so strong. And the wolf tries to eat him. He uses his magic powers. The wolf is like, oh shit, you're actually really strong. He uses his magic powers to talk to her and convince her that he's actually a demon lord, which he might actually be, but it's like a joke, right? He's just supposed to be like, oh, like trying to get her to be scared and listen to him, right? So she is like, oh my god, you're the demon lord, I'll serve you forever, like, because he's like, oh, I won't kill you, and she's like, oh my god, you spared my life, I'll serve you forever. And then he like calls her by like a nickname, and then she's like, oh my god, you named me, that means we have a contract, oh my god, now I'm gonna be your servant for real. And that's like fine and dandy and all, but she's like super possessive over him. So the first joke bit in the anime that's really fucking annoying is that he's like dying because he needs breast milk, right? Because he's a baby.
Wait, okay.
And she goes, I will give you my breast milk. And he goes, you don't have breast milk because you are not lactating. And she goes, I guess we must copulate so that I can have breast milk. And I'm like, yeah, that's literally to an infant, by the way. He's like just born. And he literally says something like, oh, she's really stupid. She doesn't understand how it works. She must be really dumb. And that's like the joke. But I was like, that's not funny. That's fucking weird. Like,
what?
Like, that's not funny. It's so weird. Like, I don't understand. And then I know. And then his biological uncle has heard that he has been thrown away into the woods. So his biological uncle shows up and is like, oh, my wife had a miscarriage, so I would love to raise this child as my own. Like, I think it's messed up that they threw him away. And I'm like, oh my god, that's so sweet. So the uncle, who's like a wonderful person, is like, oh, I'm gonna take him back to my house and raise him. And the girl is like, no, you can't, because he's mine, because I'm like his like servant, and I'm gonna take care of him. And the uncle's like, well, I have breast milk, and he has like a sack of breast milk, right? And he's like, I have not his breast milk.
Uncle had breast milk. What are you saying?
He has it like in a satchel.
Why you have it in a satchel? Where you get it from?
I don't know. His wife? Well, his wife just had a miscarriage, right? So maybe that's why. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But he has like a satchel of breast milk, and he tells the girl, he's like, well, you need this, don't you? If you want him to live, if you want your master to live, he needs breast milk. So here, you should give it to him. And the girl goes, no, I will not allow him to drink anyone's breast milk but mine. And that's like the gag. And I'm just like,
why?
Like, literally, why? Like, this is so fucking weird. But anyway, I really liked it because the family dynamic, because it time skips after that to when he's like I don't know how old he is, like a teenager, young teen, or maybe like even like 10 or something. The whole dynamic is that the parents have raised him and they love him so much, and he just calls them mom and dad, and then they actually end up getting an actual child, their own biological child. And so it's basically his cousin, right? That is his sister, his younger sister.
Right.
And she hates him. And that's like the dynamic. And it's cute because for her, she can feel his mana presence, and that's why she's scared of him. She thinks he's like a fucking demon because she feels how strong he is. And his whole thing is like, oh, she just hates me. I don't understand, right?
Yeah.
So the family dynamic is very cute. And it's like that sort of dynamic of like, I want her to not hate me because she's my little sister and she's so cute. And it's not weird or sexual. It's just very like, I just want my little sister to like me. She's adorable. And I really liked that dynamic. So he does all these things to try to get her to like him. And that was what was fun about it. And she eventually does like him because she thinks that he's a hero. And basically he starts becoming he becomes Lelouch from Code Geass because they literally parody it. So he wears the Lelouch outfit.
No
But he like
way.
goes around and like fights crime, and he's basically a he's like a tokusatsu hero. So he's like a Kamen Rider / Power Ranger, and he puts on these shows for her. He like records them and lets her watch them because she ends up liking anime because of him. And it's really cute, but then it gets bad because the fucking fox girl, wolf girl lady, she's still there, and she's still super possessive over him, and she just literally ruins like every single moment.
Scenes. Oh, no.
Every moment that she exists on the scene is ruined because she's just so fucking annoying. So there's like a part where he goes out right in his Lelouch costume, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to, you know, fight crime for my sister so she can be entertained." And he's like fighting crime, and the sister's like, the girl's like, "Oh, I need to go with you," the wolf girl. And so the sister's like, "Yeah, you need a sidekick. You should take her with you." And the guy's like, "Oh God, I can't take her with me." And she's like, "No, I must go with you." And you're like, "All right, fine." So she goes, and he goes, "Okay, no matter what, you cannot do anything like violent or gory because my sister is watching." And the girl's like, "Okay." The wolf girl's like, "Okay." And instantly she tries to burn them alive. She sets them on fire.
Wait.
Tries to burn them alive.
Like, oh, I'm sorry. My body was like, did I hear what I just hear? Oh, wait,
Yeah,
what?
no, and like they're basically they're filming this live for the sister. The sister watching live. And he freaks out because he obviously doesn't want to see his kid sister to see people burned fucking alive at the stake.
Right.
So he like ends up arguing with the fox girl for like a whole like 3 minutes or whatever, trying to get her to stop. And before he has to use his own magic to save them. And then like the episode ends with like the joke is, "Oh, I just wanted a quiet life, but my life is more hectic than ever now."
Oh, no.
But I'm
can't
just
do
like,
that.
no, this is not what
Not
I
the time,
like.
not the place,
No.
not with these characters. No.
No. Yeah. So that's where I dropped it because I was like, the wolf lady is like actually triggering me, and it's like really fucking annoying. And I was like really upset. But the opening is really cute, and there's a dance, which I love. I love opening ending dances.
Yeah, me too. They're really hard to not like.
Yeah, like any anime that has an opening or ending dance is like
It's
plus
already
5
top
points.
tier. Right.
Yeah, in my book. It's I feel like a lot of openings nowadays don't even have original animation for them. They just play scenes
Oh, I
from
hate that. I don't like that.
the series.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of them do that though. But
do.
this one, including one of the ones we talked about earlier, the Great Cleric, was all just scenes like from the show. It was very weird. This one, the opening's really cute and I like it a lot. The song lyrics are horrible though.
Oh,
It's like
no.
it's the entire story narrated. Like, have you seen those literal music videos?
Like how so? Like, give me an example.
There was one for, you know that song, that 80s song that's like turn around every now and then I get it. Have you seen the literal music video for
I
that?
haven't actually seen the video for it though. No, let me...
Oh my god, I have to send it to you. It's
Oh,
like
no.
they just narrate every single thing that happens in the music video instead of like actually making lyrics to a song. And that's
my.
basically what this is. The opening is like every lyric is just narrating the fucking show, which was really weird.
I only want to drink my breast milk.
Yeah,
Like that.
You know, that's what it should have been. I only wanted her to drink. Only want him to drink my breast milk. That's what the opening. That's what it should be. Yeah. So the opening, I wanted to give it a point for the dance, and then I wanted to take away the point for the song. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Right.
So that one gives, I feel like I want to give it a higher rating, but because of the wolf girl, it's like a 4. Like, it's just, She's just so fucking annoying, and it just ruins the entire show for me. Easy ruining the show for me.
Dang, that's some booty. Aw, dang.
Because I would have actually watched more of it, because I liked it. I mean, despite the whole breast milk fiasco in the beginning, like I could put that aside because I liked a lot of the other aspects of it.
Yeah, the fact that it went like 6 episodes in, it tells me that like, oh, it had a lot of potential, but this one character just kept ruining it.
Right, and there are just some anime where you have one character that you just whether it's personal or whatever it is, like you just can't stand them, you know. And that was the one for me, so I just couldn't do it.
Like for example, a lot of people didn't like Shippo from Inuyasha, the little like kid. I love Shippo. I love Shippo.
I can see that though.
But a lot of people are like, I hated Shippo. He's so annoying. I'm like, no, he's a kid.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's funny. The one that I know that a lot of people didn't like as well is Shampoo from Ranma 1/2.
Oh wait, oh my gosh, I don't remember the last time I even like watched that. Oh my gosh.
My roommate is like a huge Ranma 1/2 fan, so we talk about Ranma 1/2 probably way more than anyone else should in 2023.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
We were actually just talking about it like the day before yesterday.
Oh wow. Oh wait. Oh okay. Oh, I guess I need to get rewatch reading.
Yeah, it's good. All right, we're gonna take a pause. I'm pausing the fucking podcast to call out Aquafius. I can't believe you.
Oh,
Thank you so much for the 20 gifted memberships. Oh my god. You're fucking crazy. They were Aquafius yesterday was trying to snipe me, and I was like, no, I will not allow you to be sniped. We're literally stopping the podcast. Thank you so much. Yes. That's really insane of you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm in shock. Oh my gosh, thank you. Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot.
A lot of green
really
names.
Appreciate it. Oh, and also we got a lot of people who were a lot of Palcaries. We got like most of the Palcaries actually. Yay! Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, and a lot of new people showing up too. So welcome. I hope you're enjoying it so far.
Yeah, sorry we haven't really been interacting with chat much because that's just how these streams go. But I just wanted to stop to be able to thank because that's a huge 20 gifted is insane. So
I'm really shocked. Thank you so much, Aquafius. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow. A lot of green. My heart is really full. Thank you. I'll drink some water too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, me too. Water break really quick.
I gotta make sure my mouth is moist to roast you in your taste for vending machine.
Excuse you. I know we have to talk about that one. That one's gonna be the heated one. I feel like we're saving that one for last for a reason. I feel like that one and then the Reign of the Seven Spellblades. We're gonna go in on, so it's gonna be a moment.
Let me take off my jacket. It's gonna get crazy up in here.
I know. Well, we have a little while to go. So anyway, that was I was talking about. Am I the strongest? What would I rate that? I guess I would give it like a 4 because of the wolf lady. I think without the wolf lady, I would have almost even thought about giving it a 6.
Oh,
you know?
Dang, not bad.
Because I feel like if she wasn't there, I probably would have actually enjoyed the rest of the series.
Well, I have a question. Did he ever drink her breast milk?
I don't know.
Cliffhanger. You have to see the rest of the
Cliffhanger. You did. No. I mean, they skip it. I think the assumption is that he didn't because she literally said the only way that she could start lactating is if she had sex with him, which and he was like a newborn child.
Oh God.
Yeah. So probably not that, unless she had sex with the uncle, which I don't think that is the case either, because the family is very lovey-dovey. So I'm gonna my assumption, unless she found some lucky guy outside, is that she didn't. She did not indeed give him her breast milk. Yeah.
Ain't no way, girl. You're right. Yeah, they can't be right. It can't be.
Yeah, no. All right. The next series that is a similar one for me in that regard is Liar Liar. Did you watch that one?
I watched 2 or 3 episodes of it. Yeah, so I have things to say about that for sure. I did not enjoy it.
Okay, but can we first take a moment to appreciate the opening song? I don't know if you really listened to...
I was gonna say, the opening song was really good.
It was by Mayan and Teddy Lloyd, which is like the collab of the fucking century.
Oh!
That's why the song is such a fucking bop. It's so good.
I think this opening, and I think it was my Tiny Senpai's opening, was pretty good actually, in my
Oh
opinion.
my, I don't even remember my Tiny Senpai's opening, but we'll get to that when we get to
But
that.
Lyra was definitely, we'll go to Lyra, yeah. But
No, Mayan, and tell you if you're not familiar with Mayan, she's the one that does the voice for Cheryl Gnome. She's also done a bunch of like anime openings and whatnot in general, and she's like a fucking god tier singer. So
wow.
her collab with Teddy Lloyd, like, oh,
That
so
was-
good, banger ass
really
opening.
good. It
Yeah,
was good.
really, really good.
Yes.
Also, just to talk about like before we get into like the plot and why we didn't like it, I will say the animation quality for this one was also bad. But what was
Yeah.
interesting was Liar had really good graphic design. I know that's a weird thing to say, but I don't know if you remember in the first episode where they have a lot of those infographics where they're like, oh, these people, and then they show like an
Yeah.
infographic of people. Those scenes were beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Really, really well designed, but the animation itself was bad.
Yeah, and I kind of enjoy that it was pretty like saturated, the colors, like it was like really
Yes,
like
I agree.
bright. Yeah, it was really, I like that. If they didn't have it saturated, I feel like it'd be like a little bit pale, boring, and
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know, but
Wait,
yeah,
how many episodes did you watch? Did you just watch one?
Like it must have been 2. I think it was
okay.
2 or 3. Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but the beginning of the first episode, the way that they introduce each character and have them like I hate it, sorry. Okay, deep breath. So basically what I hated was that the fact that they had like almost like an immediate friendship. They're walking down the path, our main
Oh, yeah,
character's
that was
like
so weird.
I didn't get a real feel for what the character was gonna be like at that moment, and so one by one, these like characters like walking down the same path to school, and like they're all talking to each other all of a sudden. And all of a sudden, I thought maybe they're just childhood friends. Maybe they're all friends, and they just happen to
Right.
catch up with each other.
Right.
Later,
Nope, total strangers.
Later, yeah, exactly. It's so forced. Later
It's
on,
so
in
forced.
the first episode, when like that troll is like attack. Wait, no, is that the right anime? Am I talking about the right anime?
No, you were talking about Reign of the Seven Spellblades.
Oops. Wait, liar.
No.
Start. Oh, I was talking about a whole different anime.
You are.
sorry.
But Reign of the Seven Spellblades also, yeah,
Sorry,
we're gonna go in on that one.
Go back to Liar.
Yeah.
Liar. He was walking by himself. Yeah, guys, rewind. This is getting cut. It's getting cut.
Yeah, we cut.
So, basically, he's walking down the path. He's lost. Right?
Yeah. He's lost.
There
Yes.
we go, right, anime.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh my gosh. And okay, sorry. And so, like, this really cute girl comes out of nowhere. She's like, oh, like, I'll help you. Like, she's really kind, whatever. And sorry, it just irks me. As soon as they accidentally like start, so she gets wet.
That was so fucking stupid.
That was so stupid. So the thing is, guys, what you guys didn't know, I bit my tongue.
Not the tongue biting.
What happened was that, they're walking. She's like, have a good day. Like, she's happy, whatever. Happy to help you find your way. She's walking away. Then a water, like, what's it called? A sprinkler?
Yeah.
Sprays her. She stops. And she's like, this was your plan, wasn't it? And he's like, what? He's like, I'm a new kid. I just need to know where to go. Like, what the heck? She's like, this was your plan. You wanted to get me wet and embarrassed. How dare you? And she's like, I'm battling you. How dare you pretend to? Like, she's like overanalyzing in like 2 seconds just from getting like wet.
Yeah, that
from the
was
sprinkler.
crazy.
I was like, whoa, what happened? And like, she's like, oh, so you're pretending this. Oh, this is why you did this and this and this and this. I'm like, this dog just wanted to get to school. What the heck? And the thing is, like, he's not like, no, please listen. He's just like, think whatever you want to think. And he kept saying that, like, he's like, whatever. I don't care what you think. It's not what happened. I'm like, what? He's not even trying to fight for it. He's just like, whatever. And
Wait, how many episodes of this one did you watch? This was also 3?
It was like 1, 2, or 3. I think it must have been 2.
Okay.
If I'm saying or 3, it must have been 2.
Yeah.
And at after the battle is done and he just happens to like win because another
because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Another sprinkler got her wet after the like, in the middle of battle. She gets embarrassed and the system's like, oh, you changed your expression. That means you lost the battle.
So dumb.
And all of a sudden now she is like defamed. She's like she's embarrassed in front of all the kids surrounding. Like what was that scene? Sorry.
No, I agree. It was really dumb. But I will say the reason why I kept watching Liar Liar was that after that, the headmistress that comes up, I really liked her.
Oh wait, hold on. I make
she was so like funny.
Wait. She's kind of like, I can't remember. She has the glasses, right? And
and then her whole thing is like, she's just like, oh yeah, you do suck at everything. Like, why are you here?
Yeah.
And her demeanor in general is like really good and like, really interesting.
Yeah. I agree. Because for a second I thought we were talking about the headmaster for the other anime.
Oh no. Well, they're kind of similar, honestly.
Actually, kind of. Yeah. But I also agree that Liar Liar headmaster was pretty funny, and that she's like, oh, you either lie your way through, and we just pretend that you're really great, and we pretend like you're overpowered, and you just happen to like pass like by flying colors, or you just get out of here. We kick you out.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, jeez. And like the whole reason why is he's trying to find his childhood friend. And I'm like, but I wonder if there's anything more to it. And I can't judge it because I only watched like 1, 2, maybe 3 episodes of it. But like, I'm not a big fan of that trope. Like, I'm trying to find someone, and then it's like they don't elaborate. Like, oh, it's just a really good childhood friend, or oh, it's like a really good mastermind.
I don't know how many episodes I watched, but the last episode I watched, they kind of start talking about it, and that's what made me really upset because it was like the stakes are so fucking low.
Oh, there we go.
It's just like, it's like he's like, oh, she was the only one that would play with me when I was a kid. I'm like, okay, and like you couldn't even do the stupid anime trope of like, oh, promise me that we'll get married when we're older. You know, like I don't know. It could have been like, that's a dumb anime trope, but at least it makes sense.
It actually has like a reason. Not like, oh, they play with me. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just like so weird. And like the stakes are like so high. I feel like, or the stakes are so low, but they make it seem like they're so high. I think the premise was interesting, but it was just like dumb because their whole thing is that they're going to hack all the games.
Yeah.
And that's how they win.
Yeah,
which
I saw that. It was...
It's not interesting.
It's
because,
not.
okay, it's one thing if like, I think if they had put like something like, I don't know.
Like maybe we'll
you have to only win with, we have to only win with like low level skills. That would have been interesting. And they're just like trying to outsmart them. Or if it was like, we have to hack, but like, because right now it's like they have to hack, but they have to make it look like it's not hacked, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But there's also these games. Every game is like fucking random. And then 2, the writers are literally making shit up as they go. Like, it's not like a standardized game. It's not like everyone's playing the same game or like you're playing a TCG or something. So like there's some kind of rules. Each game has its own set of rules. And each game...
Random.
And also the skills that each student has, each skill set that everyone has is also like random and infinite. So they can just make shit up every episode.
It did feel like that way, especially with the motorcycle scene. So
yeah, there's like they can just they can literally make up anything that they want and be like, oh yeah, a skill like that exists, or yeah, it doesn't exist. Like there's just there's no stakes, there's no like nothing interesting. It's not like they have to use their heads really. They just have to, like, you know.
I was thinking about that too, because it could have been like, oh, we're able to help you hack to a degree, but you had to take it from there. You had to find out a way. No, it's like, we'll handle it. You just walk and talk. Like, are you kidding me? You know?
Well, okay, so the game after that one, which is probably an episode you haven't seen because that's the one where they bring up the childhood friend. That one's even worse because they do that. But the thing is, they start saying like, oh, we can't help you. And he starts panicking and he starts having to do everything by himself. But I'm like, I thought they literally say in the beginning that they have almost infinite money and that they have infinite resources and they can basically hack anything. But now you're telling me that you can't? Like, why?
Right.
There's no...
What's happened?
Yeah, like there's no rhyme or reason to any of these things. Every game, they just make up rules to make it work for that particular scene or that game. And then all the
Right.
skills, they also just make it up as they go to fit that scene. There's no, it just
Mm-mm-mm.
feels so cop-outy. Like the writing just doesn't feel like any sort of way, like one way or another, you know?
Right.
Like it feels like they're trying to make the series seem really smart when it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You know, yeah, I totally agree because in the episode 1, when they were facing off against each other, I just wanted to point this out. Like, it was really inconsistent. So she's like, "Oh, I lessened your turn by like this much. Now all of a sudden you can't show expressions." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Right.
Dog showed like 3 different expressions on his face.
Oh,
it didn't get
right.
caught out for it. And then it was her. Then it's like my turn. All of a sudden, I'm like, what? Is it really your turn now? Because he's made like 3 different expressions. Like, what happened? And
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, it's like very like just they're winging it almost.
They are.
And like
Yeah.
what was it? In the motorcycle episode, what happened was that he was, oh, my 3rd skill is to make a safety thing so you don't die when you fell.
Right.
I'm like, what? Is that a skill? Is that really a
It's
skill?
so stupid.
That was
It's
random.
just like,
Put on gym equipment. What the heck?
oh, you know, I wanted to mention this too, though. It kind of sucks because I actually really, really, really like the premise, like the overarching premise. I like the idea of like having to lie. I like the idea of like this school on this like battle royale-esque school island. Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's like battle royale school island, and there's people trying to escape. Like, you know, the girl. So I think in the episode you watched, they said that she was kidnapped, but like spoiler alert,
Right.
basically she left because she wanted to go to a normal school. She like didn't want to be in this battle school anymore. So I think like that's like really interesting. Like people trying to escape the island, people like trying to get on the island. Those
Right.
concept is interesting, and I also really love the main character. I love the idea of like his whole shtick is that he tries to seem like an asshole, and he just tries to do this whole thing where it makes people feel like he has this certain persona when he's actually a dumbass and he like doesn't know what he's doing.
That's cute. I really like that too. I definitely do.
Yeah, and
he's
like
very arrogant on camera, but then he's
Right.
like screaming in his head, you know.
Right. I loved that whole scene where he like makes that speech on stage and he comes back and he's like, why did I do that? Like, I'm such a fucking idiot. Like,
That's
you know,
funny.
yeah, like I love that sort of dynamic and I love that character type. Like that's like one of my favorite character tropes. So that's why I thought it was interesting, but there are no stakes. It's not a death
Yeah.
game like Battle Royale. There's no death. There's no bullying like Kakegurui. It's just
Right.
like a grade system. For him, the stake is that people will find out that he's a liar and then he'll get expelled from school. So the stake is quote unquote high. But what happens if he gets expelled? He just goes back to normal school and he can't find his childhood friend. The only reason why he wants to be there is to find this random childhood friend. Like,
Right.
they have smartphones. He can't like fucking just find her. Like,
Go
I don't
on
understand.
Go on Facebook and search her name.
Yeah.
You guys, yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It just feels like very, you know, everything is like they're trying to make it seem like smart and there's all these high stakes, but nothing really matters in this, and it's just
Right.
that's what made it not good. Yeah.
I agree. I definitely agree. It had a lot of potential. I like how they had to keep each other a secret, like their own secrets.
Oh yeah, I thought that was cool.
cute.
But we didn't. But okay, what the weird thing was like she was like, "Oh, you know my secret because you got like everyone will know the secret like of the previous
Yeah.
people." But we never knew any of the other secrets. Like they didn't even give us examples.
Did they explain ever why he didn't even get to know?
No, they don't explain. They don't understand.
How come he didn't then? If
Right.
you're saying that, is he a special person? Did he have a nullification power? Like what?
Yeah, I don't
don't know.
know.
Yeah.
That's why it was like it's like I don't know.
Yeah.
Everything in that show feels like they were like, oh, it'd be so big brain if we did this, and then they don't actually like have the big brain to like back it up. So like they just couldn't like they couldn't like fill in the gaps a lot of the times. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get to the main course, the last one we
main
can talk
course.
about is My Tiny Senpai.
The
Oh wait, we
opening
have to
was-
rate it. Rate liar, liar. Sorry.
Liar was a good 4. It wasn't like I was like seething and more like what's going on, you know. Maybe 3.54 for me.
I would give it a 4 as well. I feel like it's too bad to be mid, but it's not bad enough to make me angry. So I don't really.
Exactly, which we will get to for sure.
Yeah.
Which I was already roasting, but I didn't realize wrong anime. It's so dumb. My eyeballs are looking at the title.
Fine. It happens. It happens. We crammed a lot of anime for this episode, so
yeah.
There was a lot of anime in a very short period of time, and a lot of these are fucking so similar. So
right.
Yeah. We'll talk about My Tiny Senpai next. I would like to hear your thoughts on this one first because I think mine are a little bit more opinionated.
Yeah.
How many episodes did you watch? And yeah, what did you think?
I think I watched 3.5 episodes of sorts. But basically, I knew that this anime was coming because Twitter was doing a whole thing about it. About how, because like she's petite and she has big booba and like blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, and I think they did the same thing with that other character who has a gray hair. What's her name? Uzaki-chan?
From...
I don't quite remember. It's the same premise where it's like a short girl with a big
Oh,
booba.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
It's just like a tooth, like a...
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I knew of the anime before I started it. Like I just knew like people were just talking about it. And when I started it, I really wanted to have an open mind. I'm like, you know what? I can't take it as like, oh, they just want to like do a fan service-y whatever moments. I like her character, but there was just a couple of scenes where it just like felt like it wasn't her. Like it wasn't her character. Like it was like mischaracterizing herself. Cause like at times she was like teasing. Sometimes she was just like really happy, a really good senpai. And other times she was like childish. And it's like it kept going like back and forth. And I was like I couldn't really get a read for who she kind of is. So I'm not saying that she's like a terrible like character written. I just feel like it was like a little bit too like inconsistent. I'm not like, oh, I hate fan service. Like fan service is good when they do it right. It's like it's
right.
good.
I agree.
But there were moments where the camera just randomly just panned to her boobs, or like when it was like not like there's no reason to. Like if she fell on top of him, if she was like pressed up against him, that makes sense. But like she would just be sitting there talking, explaining something, and it just goes.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
And then at a different angle.
Yep.
Like they weren't moving or anything either. They're just there. I'm like, okay. Like at least give it balance if you're gonna give it attention.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think the main character was just kind of plain.
He was super boring. Yeah.
But I really want to understand that this is just like another feel-good anime. Don't take it as like it needing a plot. Maybe it's just like a little bit of a romance between the two. But I really I just didn't enjoy it. I feel like it wasn't like heart-throbbing at any time. I didn't feel like it was like, oh, this is why they really are pulled to each other. It
felt a lot like what we were talking about, what we didn't like with My Happy Marriage, except without any of the depth of My Happy Marriage. Because with My Happy Marriage, you can at least be like, oh, you can cope and say like, okay, she just liked him because he's like the only person in her life that's ever been nice to her or has ever done anything nice for her.
Right.
So like you can totally understand why she would be in love with him, and you could cope and say, oh, he's in love with her because she's not like all the other like stuck up Ojo-sama types that he's had to try to marry before. Yeah, and like his heritage or whatever. So like it has a different feeling to that. Whereas I feel like with My Tiny Senpai, it's extremely gratuitous in terms of male fantasy in like the worst way possible, where you're like, they're trying to spoon feed you so hard that she's so cute, and it just makes her not cute. Like,
I really tried to see it from his perspective, but like the way he kept saying like, oh, she's so wifey, she's like they really were forcing it. It was
so forced.
It would have been so great if the scenes that they already had, they made it like very natural,
right?
And have him react to it.
Do you remember the fucking cat scene? I literally like almost like gagged watching that one.
I don't remember.
Where she's like, all of a sudden he's like walking to work and she's sitting, like she's crouching and she's like meowing at a bush.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck am I watching right now? And
cat-
she's like, meow, meow. And then he's just like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. And she's like, oh, I was just trying to get the cat to come out of the bush. And he's like, oh my God, like you're adorable. I was like, bro.
No, in that scene, he said, oh, you're that's so cute. And she's like, oh, I was talking about the cat. And he's like, oh, yeah, right. But like, he shouldn't even react to that. Because like, it was awkward. he was like so cute. And she's like, oh, but I was talking about, like, I was talking about me. I was talking about the cat, It wasn't like, oh, no, no, not me, like, goofier, like, nothing. She was like, oh, not me, the cat.
So weird. And then like,
awkward.
the part where like, he's like, they're talking about massaging and she like has to like massage his back.
Yeah.
Well, like, first of all, that's workplace like sexual harassment. Like, you don't fucking do that. Like, you don't fucking massage your coworkers. Like, that's not okay. First of all. Second of all, that entire scene was so weirdly sexual. It was like freaking me out.
Yeah, he was like,
it was so nasty.
Hands. He was like,
he kept talking about how tiny her hands were, and he was like, oh, her tiny little hands like gripping onto my shoulders and like caressing me.
Her tiny hands, like, oh my god.
And then he couldn't stand up because he had a boner or whatever. I was like, man, why do you have to do this?
It was so awkward.
It's like weird because I would understand if it felt like sort of self-inserty, but it just feels like nasty, and it feels like I'm watching like I feel like I'm watching. Okay, Meeta, you've probably never watched porn. Have you watched porn before? Okay, so like there are some porn where like they do this very, very long story bit in the beginning leading up to the porn, right? To like get you immersed, like to add to the immersion or whatever. That's what it feels like. It feels like this weird, because everything feels overtly sexual. It doesn't feel like a regular anime. It feels like a porn because they're trying really hard to make normal, regular things hypersexual to like lead up to this like sex scene later or something. You know what I mean? Like that's what it feels like. And that's why I just felt like nasty the entire time watching it. I was like, this is so like weird and gross. Like most of the other scene, the one where he's like nervous and you write like the person kanji on your hand and you eat it.
I hated that part. He was like, and I was like, ew. She's like, that tickled. I was like, stop.
I could not, man. That was
what?
That was so nasty.
That whole scene was awkward because like, that was the part where he was like, oh, she's so wifey. Oh wow. Like he literally was saying those words, and
it was just like very weird. Like the entire series just felt really uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine a guy watching this and like being like, yes, this is great. I mean, unless it's like they're literally watching it as if it's porn, but like it's not feel good at all. It just feels nasty the entire way. Like everything just feels overly gratuitous. It just feels like weird fan service. I don't like how much. See, okay, the thing is like, if it's just gross fan service that's gross, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like what Meeta was saying, if she falls on top of him and her boobs are hanging, like whatever, like I'm okay with that because like that's like what I'm here for. Like that's fine. I get that. Even the breast milk bit, like it was annoying and it was really dumb.
It had purpose.
Yeah, I get what they were trying to do with it, right? Like it made sense. But with My Tiny Senpai, it's like these weird instances where it's like it doesn't make sense that it's fan service. Like why is this happening?
Yeah.
It's like he's making normal things that are not gross into gross things, and it makes me feel really uncomfortable.
Like it kind of felt like he was just like constantly like looking at her like body for no reason, almost because it's really from his perspective. So really, she should just be sitting next to him, and she's like, oh, as a senpai, I just did this and that, and while she's talking, it pans to her boobs just sitting still, but like just there, like, oh my god,
like all he can think about is like sex. Like that's like literally the entire series. It's like he looks at her and he sees nothing but like oh, I just want to like have sex with this person,
Yeah,
which is
I
like,
want her to be my wife. Yeah.
which is, you know what? I think that's why it feeds into that weird porn vibe. Like that's why it feels like a porno,
I
because it
see.
doesn't feel like two people. It feels like a guy just like the entire time thinking about like the objective, which is sex at the end, you know?
Right, and they tried to do it from her perspective. I think it was like episode 2 or maybe the end of episode 1 when he gave her the jacket, like his suit jacket, and she was like, she saw it all of a sudden. She's like, it feels like he's hugging me, and she's like blushing and everything. Actually, here, you take it back. Like it didn't even feel like it was like a heart-throbbing scene. It just felt like it's playing into his fantasy.
His fantasies, yeah.
So
I mean,
it's weird. It was kind of
it's just not enjoyable in any one way or another. I feel like even if I'm like looking for fan service, like this is not what I'm looking for.
Yeah, this is
right. Like
that's not how you do fan service. They just put it.
No.
Yeah, they just put it there. Like what?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess only a watch for people who have extreme like sexual like what do you call it? They feel pent up, and this is how they think maybe they will feel like, you know, oh, finally someone who understands. I feel seen, you know. Maybe that's what it's aiming for. Or if you have this specific fetish, I guess, of like being in an office with a very small woman who has large boobs. If that is your specific fetish, maybe it would be that. But I don't know. I like short girls with big boobs. Like that is my aesthetic. But this was not that.
Literally me, but you can't see it under my bow.
Oh.
Literally me.
Right. The bow.
I got G's.
Right.
I got.
I believe you. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, senpai.
Yeah. Well, soon the camera will just start panning down there.
There we go. Go ahead, camera. Do your work. There's nothing.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
All right. What would you rate that one?
A solid 3.
Solid 3. I agree.
Maybe 2.5.
Yeah, I was teetering between a 2 and a 3. It's weird because this one doesn't make me angry as much as it like actually just grosses me out. Like it creeps me out.
It creeps you, yeah.
Yeah, like if I was in the same room with this fucking guy, like I'd be like, no, like get me out of this fucking room.
Right, I would be like calling HQ every day, like dog is sitting next to me today.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, like please get him away from me.
Right.
But also, if you're the guy, like no, like I don't want. If I was the guy, like I don't want this woman touching me. Like she keeps massaging me or like putting her hand in my face. Yeah, like man, like personal space, please. Like this is too much, you know.
I'm here to work. Why are you in my
Yeah. Like I can't. It's just too much. I mean, for example, good examples of office relationships would be like wotakoi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wotakoi was a great one for coworkers who are dating and not making it fucking weird. First of all, not making it fucking weird for everybody else in your workplace.
Imagine you're working there and you just see those two going like, oh my god, my body's been massaged.
Massaging?
Bro.
That's also workplace harassment, honestly.
For real, like, oh my gosh. But yeah, like for Otakoi, basically they're doing their jobs. They're doing their jobs. That's the first important thing that came first. And then it's like they're helping each other each job. It's cute and yeah. Bro, they made the whole thing. Like, were they even getting work done?
What was the other one that was? Oh, I was reading one. That was another one that I was reading that was also like a good office place one.
Ooh.
But it's kind of smutty. But it's smutty. But even if it's smutty, they didn't even do it like this. It's like
wow.
I don't know. This is really bad. I couldn't handle it. Dang. I would definitely give it. I give it a 3. You know what? I'm gonna drop it to a 2. Yeah, I'm just gonna give it a 2.
Yeah, 2. You know, let's stop being generous.
Yeah, we're being too nice. No, this is definitely a 2. This is definitely a 2. I like. This is another one where I had to stop midway first episode and just be like, why the fuck am I doing this to myself? Like, this is like nasty. Like, I can't watch this.
It felt really gross. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
I couldn't watch it.
Wait. senpai, you want to have what's it called? Courage in work. Here's my hand in your face.
I'm gonna throw up all over your hand.
It just shows it. It goes like,
You know, I'm just... I'm gonna breathe really heavily on your hand. So that Meeta will go, oh my god, it tickles. Jesus Christ. No, can't do it. Yeah. All right, well, we're here for the main event now.
Oh my god, here we go, baby.
All right, let's go with the vending machine one first, so we can make up afterwards with our agreed take.
Yes, Reborn as a vending machine. I don't want to do the dungeon. Go ahead.
Okay, to be fair, I only watched one episode, but I did ask Meeta, do you think I would like it if I watched more of it? Like, I'm open to being convinced, and she said, nah, I don't think you.
I was being honest, okay?
I genuinely was like, okay, you know what? If you like it, maybe I'll give it a shot. I hated the first episode, so maybe I'll give it a shot. She was like, no, you are not gonna like it.
Oh my gosh.
I'll start because I made it I was very vocal about it in the first place. Right. Reborn as a vending machine. I now want a dungeon. The premise is that this guy dies and then he gets reborn, isekai'd into this fantasy world where he is a vending machine, and vending machines don't exist. So he's like a technical marvel, right? And then he can use his stats to increase his like electricity and shit or whatever. That's like the whole premise of the series. And then people start like stopping by, and eventually he ends up in a dungeon because this very strong lady picks him up. The first episode was a fucking horrible first episode. I don't know if the rest of the series is good, but the first episode is an awful first episode because half of this fucking episode is just exposition.
It is.
It's just exposition of vending machines.
Yeah, so I did not understand why he felt so like compelled to be like, oh no, the vending machine is falling off that truck. Remember in the beginning, like
Well, he's like a vending machine otaku, right? Like that's the premise.
It's so random.
It's fucking stupid. I mean, okay, to be fair, I will say in Japan there are a lot of different otaku subsects.
Right,
so
like train
otaku. Yeah, you have like train otaku, you have plain otaku, etc., etc. So I think vending machine otakus existing is not surprising to me, and that is definitely something that could be real. But it felt like this anime was written by somebody who is a vending machine otaku,
right?
And they're just fucking like brain dumping on us of like all of the weird random vending machine shit that they like that nobody is going to fucking comprehend except other vending machine otaku.
Right. Yeah, I agree for sure. Yeah, his character is definitely
Okay, wait, then Meeta. Okay, well, no, I'll talk about why I dislike it then, and then you can convince me. You can, yeah. So basically, the entire first episode is him just talking about like how vending machine functionality and how he can like upgrade his like parts to eventually sell different things, and then half of the fucking episode is him running out of energy and being like, I can't sell anything. So like, it was just. I felt like, okay, it could have been sort of, I don't even know how they could make this fucking interesting, but like the idea of like being a modern contraption in a medieval setting is an interesting premise in itself.
Yeah.
But being somebody inside, like being a sentient machine is a little
too much.
It is. And I just can't understand like how they would ever be able to make that interesting. And basically it was just like as it progressed in the first episode anyway, it got less and less interesting. And then the end where the girl picks him up, that whole thing just felt really dumb. And it was just like it felt like we need something to get the fucking story going. So they like got her to be really strong and like pick him up and move him. I feel like it would have even been a lot more interesting if they just started him in a dungeon. You know, like if he like
Right.
popped up in a dungeon and helped out people in need, or like people are like, what the
Right.
fuck is this?
That
You
makes-
know, whatever
yeah.
that is. Yeah, that would have been interesting. But the
I
fact that
100%
like
agree. Mm-hmm.
the goblins like attacked him, like all of that, just none of it made any sense. It was so random. And then all of his conversation with the girl was also really random and really bad.
Yeah.
And his whole thing of like, oh, I can't communicate, so I'm just gonna answer with like weird signals that my vending machine is able to do
Welcome.
was
Okay.
so dumb
It's a
and
coin.
bad.
Yeah,
So that was I did not like that one.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with a lot with what you said, for sure. The first episode, I wish they did end up like in like the dungeon part where they're like, you know, adventurers need like food or something, like they really need him. But yeah, having him sit out on the grass for like a long time, just sitting there, it was kind of slow. But the thing is, like, part of me was like, wait, Leroy Senpai really hated this anime. I want to watch more to prove her wrong.
Oh my god.
And actually, I am here to prove her wrong for once. I am shocked. Yeah. So basically, what happened was that, continuing the episodes, I have said before, I like the anime where isekai, where they bring stuff from the like modern day to isekai life, and they get to experience like, wow, this is amazing. What like I love like that feeling. Ooh, like yeah, you better like it. Yeah. So that was satisfying when she finally got to town and she put down the vending machine and people were trying it out, and it was like real. They're like, wow, like it was amazing. Okay, guys, before I continue, I did rank this at like a solid 6, 5, 6.
Okay. So it's not like you're not trying to convince me this is the best anime ever.
Yeah, so I was agreeing to what you were saying. I was agreeing a lot.
Okay.
But the thing is that these people have blessings, is what they're called, and that's why the girl was able to like have super strength. Not everybody has super strength. Like she just happens to have that blessing. And magical tools are definitely like sought after. And this one girl, she is like a big magical tool like crazy person. And we really wanted to interact with her and like find her so we can find out why, like who he is, like what is this vending machine doing here, because no one knows like what he's doing here.
Right.
Eventually they do meet up in a weird kidnappy circumstancy way. I totally skipped like 3 episodes. I'm sorry, because the 3 episodes were kind of like dragged out a little bit, but it was interesting. I kept going. It's interesting, okay? Listen.
Oh my god.
Listen. It's worth it. So basically, she was finally asking questions that nobody thought to ask. To sit down in front of him and be like, okay, so this means yes and this means no. Are you ready? And he's like, yeah. And so she's finally asking questions like, oh, do you have a master? Are you a human trapped inside there? Do you have thoughts? You know, all this stuff. She was actually asking the questions that I thought everybody would be asking in the first place. So finally, that was satisfying. I think overall as an anime, it's very slow. But it kind of has its own like quirky feel to it, like very like it's meant to be consumed as a heartfelt like, you know, chill anime. So I was trying to take it as is.
Sure.
I feel like there could have been a lot more moments where it could have been more like Eureka, this is amazing. I think I'm fighting for it.
Did you finish it? Is it done?
I almost finished it.
Does he like turn into a human at any point?
No.
Is he just like a vending machine the entire time?
Vending machine.
Does he ever get like? Does he ever get the ability to talk?
I apologize. He could turn into any other machine. The more he upgrades, he could turn into a kidney like machine. He could turn into a prize machine. He could turn into a dirty magazine machine. He could turn.
Oh, but it has to be like a type of vending machine. Like he's vending something. I see.
And so far he still hasn't talked, but a couple of episodes in, he finally starts to realize that he can mix up his words more. So you know, like, instead of like welcome to the vending machine, insert your coin, he can say welcome, insert, you know, trying to like tell.
Oh, like he can piece them together.
Oh, yeah, a little bit better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. I think his character overall, he's he's a nice guy, but I think that he's actually not like the nice guy that we were talking about earlier from the anime that you watched. Like not like that.
Oh, the Great Cleric.
Yeah, not like him. More so, he's nice, but he actually is helpful. He's actually has purpose, you know, a little bit. And, you know, his purpose really is to, what is his purpose? Oh my gosh. he likes being a vending machine. It's not like, I mean, it's like a slice of life almost at this point.
Right.
But I think it was enjoyable because I took it as is that it was it's just supposed to be a chill anime. It's supposed to be like, you know, and I did enjoy when people were like, wow, I never had this before. Like, this food is amazing. That was satisfying to me, but you know, I rate it as like a 5 or 6. You know, I wouldn't. I'm not gonna continue because there's more anime to watch.
Right.
But I wouldn't say like I hated it or I loved it. But yeah, it's not as bad as many say.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just one of those where the first episode for sure I felt very much like, wow, I wasted 30 minutes of my life watching that episode.
Right.
Because I feel like there's a lot of series where even if you watch the first episode and you don't continue it or you didn't like it, you're like, okay, well, you know what? That was interesting. Or like, oh, that's kind of an interesting premise. But like, this is just like the title literally tells you the entire premise. And I didn't have to actually watch the fucking show. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I agree.
I don't know what I would rate that as. I feel like it's hard for me to rate series, especially if I've only seen one episode. It definitely sounds more like I can see why you liked it. Like when you describe it, like, okay, I could see interesting things happening around that. But like you said, like, will I watch it? No. I mean, there's a lot of good anime that I have to watch too. So I'd probably give it like a 4. Like I didn't get upset about it. My roommate really hated it though. She was like, she was very upset. Like, she was like, I can't believe it wasted my time. Like,
right.
This fucking vending machine bullshit.
right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I totally, you know, I understand too. But I really think I liked it. You know, liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
6. You know, 6 is all right.
Yeah, maybe 5.5. Yeah, 6.
Yeah. 6.5. Yeah. Okay. Well, but do you have like a favorite isekai series that's a little bit weirder?
Oh no, I wish I had one ready because I have bad memory. But I like isekai. I really do.
I like isekai as well. I know a lot of people like shit on isekai, and like that's fine if they don't like isekai. But I'm actually a really big isekai fan. I've always been a big isekai fan, even from like back in the days of like .hack or even like Digimon. Like I love the concept of like being transported to like a different world and stuff like that. So I for one am happy that there's a lot of isekai series. I am not happy that half of them are shit though.
I know, and that's really like, are you kidding me? Like you're taking all this time to make a isekai where he has a smartphone and he's OP, but he's not actually using it correctly. You know, stuff like that, like random stuff.
Oh, I haven't seen that one, the smartphone one.
Yeah, don't. I'm getting irritated thinking about it.
Oh no.
Oh my
okay,
God.
what was the worst isekai that you've seen?
The worst isekai ever.
If you can't think of the best one.
Oh no. Man, we should have a whole episode on isekai.
Oh, we should do an isekai episode. Actually, I'm down.
Actually, because I feel like it's to be so well prepared and like actually.
Yeah, good. And I need to like watch a bunch more too because I feel like my knowledge is also kind of. I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah, I'll recommend.
Write it down.
Yeah, write it down. I'll recommend a lot to you because like my favorite isekai, I call it isekai, but it's not really isekai where he's transported. It's just like their world. Senyu, I talked about Senyu before, where there's like demons and like villages and stuff like that, and other creatures, and I like the fake giraffes, but they're called Nisa pandas. It's really weird.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. But yeah, we'll definitely have an isekai episode. Yeah, we have to.
Yeah. Well, okay, we'll do an isekai episode. That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
So look for that in the future, everyone. All right, the last anime that we're about to rip into.
Yeah, which I definitely didn't rip into earlier.
Okay, wait. Before we get to this, so we're gonna talk about Reign of the Seven Spellblades. Chat. That's what we're gonna be talking about, or people at home. Did you watch? Oh shit! Now I'm forgetting what it was called. It's also an isekai one. I talked about it on stream before. Are you okay? What's happening? Is that your water?
Oh, sorry, my water bottle.
Your water?
I'm drinking water. Sorry.
It's so loud.
A strong grip.
Oh my Jesus Christ!
I must grip the water.
Oh my Lord!
It
It reminded me of shoot, what's it called? It's another like isekai series that the guy has like a bunch of girls on the cover with, and they're all like different fighters, and the first episode's also really bad, and he also gets hit by a truck. The first episode is like about like this actress girl in his class getting kidnapped, and it's a really bad first episode as well.
You don't have
Anyway,
the title at all?
No, I can't remember the title to save my life. But if you didn't know from what I just said, then you probably didn't watch it.
Okay.
Anyway, I was gonna say that there's certain bits of it that remind me of that one too. But we'll skip that. Anyway, we're gonna talk about Reign of the Seven Spellblades. Would you like to start?
Yes. Okay, guys. So let me tell you from the beginning. So basically, this anime is booty.
And not the good kind of booty.
Yeah, no, it was like sticky mayonnaise cheek booty. So basically what happened was that the main character, you know, he's walking down. he's walking down.
Happening.
He's walking down, like going to school, the first day of school, and you know all students are starting to walk, and like there's like this random flower that's like talking to it, like him, like, oh, you're gonna have a bad time, whatever, and he's like, okay, bye, madam. It
was like a weird Alice in Wonderland reference too, because it was the same exact type of flower as Alice in Wonderland. The Disney Alice in Wonderland. It was very weird.
Right. So it's already setting up like it's magical, it's fantasy. So he's walking, and like there are other students like ahead of him, behind him, and they're all like saying like, oh, that scared me, and like other people are talking like, well, yeah, it's okay, it's just trying to frighten you. And the thing is that like they're all starting to group up. Like all of a sudden there's like more and more like people coming in, like walking. And I'm thinking, oh, they're all friends and they finally met up with each other. No. That's their first interaction. It was just like they knew each other. And you know, I thought nothing of it. I was like, you know what, whatever. And and then later on, they're finally in like they're watching a parade happen. And this big troll guy's like comes out in the parade, and like they're like all teasing each other, talking about the troll, you know, whatever. Like I really think they're childhood friends at this point. And then she's like, oh no, sorry, too soon. All of a sudden, this girl makes this other girl make her legs run after the troll, right? And she's like,
like some random girl, by the way, like someone in the crowd.
Like controls the girl to like move towards the troll, and the troll starts getting out of control, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, we're gonna save her. So they all team up. They finally they defeated whatever, and you know, I think they try to force like, oh, we came together, we defeated this one common enemy, now we're all friends. And you know, this is when she says, by the way, my name is blah 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 blah. Like, oh, they really didn't know each other, but they're like teasing each other, like their child, like, like the way they were like talking with each other made me so like, what? Like
it was very weird, and also like the whole like I don't even know where to start. I feel like the part that really fucking got me to be like, what the fuck? Because okay, them being close and all of a sudden being friends like was fucking weird, but also I was like, okay, maybe it's just because like they don't have anyone else to hang out with, so they were just trying to be friendly in the new school term or whatever. So I sort of forgave that, but what I didn't understand was the whole bit right before when they're doing the parade. The girl in the group is like, I like mystical animals, mystical beasts.
Yeah.
And the guy is like, oh, cool, look, they're doing a parade. And she goes, oh, but it's kind of fucked up that they're using a troll in the parade because trolls actually have like they like have a language and they can speak to each other and they have like yeah they have like sentience. So like, well, not that animals don't have sentience, but you know what I mean, like they have a community and stuff. Like we shouldn't be treating them as if they're like regular animals. They, you know, whatever. And then his whole thing is like, well, trolls suck because they ruined all the crops in my village. And she's like, yeah, but that's because your village was probably built on top of like existing troll territory. And then they start fighting about it. And the reason why they stop fighting is because the kid with the book is like, I'm trying to read here. And they're like, oh, sorry. Which is like also fucking weird.
I hate that kid.
It's so fucking weird. So strange. And then, okay, and then the worst part is then the random person in the crowd forces this girl to like, her legs start moving and she starts running towards the troll. The troll tries to kill the girl. Not that the troll knows this, but the troll tries to kill the girl that basically, like, the point was she was trying to make is that these people are like, they're people too, kind of thing, right? Trolls are like human. They're like people too. They're not human, but they're people. Yeah. So like the fact that the troll almost killed her, first of all, it's like fucked up that they would do that. Yeah. So I thought this was an elaborate setup where she would run towards the thing and the troll would stop and not kill her because the troll is displaying how its personability and how it has feelings and how it has emotions and it wouldn't just needlessly kill. But no, the troll tries to kill her and their random person with the katana, she shows up and she tries to hit the troll and they distract the troll or whatever. This whole thing happens. But basically the katana girl wouldn't have been able to do it if they didn't distract the troll, apparently, because her sword is like not functional apparently either, which didn't make any sense. And especially doesn't make sense because later they reveal that she's been fighting in wars and that she has blood on her hands and whatever, but like she can't kill a troll. Like she can kill people, but she can't kill trolls. Like what the fuck are you trying to like? What are you talking about? Like what? Oh, like that doesn't make any sense.
I know.
Yeah, and they never fucking bring up the fact that this girl that was an advocate for the trolls was almost killed by the trolls, by the way. And it's not even like a plot point where it's like, oh, she hates trolls now, so now like she has this sort of evil in her heart or anything. No, it's just they have dinner together, which is also fucking random.
Oh my gosh, don't get me started on that.
I mean, all of it was like very like they're just trying to make it a Harry Potter Hogwarts coded thing. But it was really bad and weird. And then like the whole bit about the katana girl during the entrance ceremony when the headmaster is like, do or die, do whatever. And then it's like, does anybody have any questions? And she's like,
this is how you...
yeah, like you seem like you have a headache. Have you tried rubbing your temples?
Like this.
It helps. Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck is this trying? Like, what is this? It's like so random. Like, what is it trying to tell me? Like, what is the plot point here? Like, what am I supposed to gain out of this? That she's an idiot? Like,
I think they're trying to force like she's like not like the others. Like she didn't have like she didn't grow up with other people like us. Cause like later on when she's having a freaking like little bath like purification thing in the freaking fountain in front of the boys' dormitory, naked.
That was so weird. So weird. Okay, but before we even get to that, the part where they're eating, it was so strange how like, again, another thing where the main character is feeling very forcibly Gary Sued, but he like serves everyone because apparently no one knows how to fucking serve themselves, and the katana girl doesn't know how to eat Western food. Yeah. So he like starts serving everyone there, and then like even the other girl's like, oh, that looks fun, can you serve me too? And then like the guy's like, haha, we have 2 princesses, or like whatever. It's just like what is happening? What is this? Like why is this happening? Like none of this makes any sense. None of this is funny or interesting. It's just random.
Yeah,
and then oh yeah, go for it.
Oh, at the table scene, like freaking the kid with the book, he's so haughty, and he's like, I'm not here to make friends, but he's purposely sat at the same table with everybody else, and sitting with them, and like being, I don't know, that character's just like there to be there at that point, just to make different dynamic, like okay. And
then it was just so weird when like the next scene was they share the dorm room. It's the main character of the book boy. They share the dorm room, right? And then like the main character gets up early and he puts a blanket on the book boy as if he's his mom or something. Like It was just so Gary Sue and weird. Like,
yeah, it just like felt like what are you trying to make this character be? You know.
I think they were just trying to like show like, oh, he's like just so considerate and nice of like everyone around him or so. I don't know. It was fucking weird. I mean, tuck your homies good night, I guess. I guess. Like, you might as well kiss him on the head too while you're at it. Like, it was just so weird. You don't know this person. This person's been an ass to you the whole day, and you're telling me that this guy's gonna tuck him in? What if he just doesn't like the blankets being on him? Like, he's in his bed. Why is he tucking him in at 5 a.m. also? Like, just so weird. And then the scene, we're just gonna keep going here. The fucking scene with him going towards the fountain where his brother had sent him like a weird spy. Do you remember that?
I don't.
It was so bad. Like, the spy shows up and he's like, who's there? And he like pulls out his sword, right? Like, he's about to attack her. And then she's like, oh, master blah 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 sent you. And he's like, oh, Oni-chan sent you. Like, why you know? He's like, what should I call you then? And she's like, you can call me whatever you like. And he's like, that's not very helpful. What's your name? And then she gives him her full name. Like, why didn't she just say her full name from the get-go? Like, it's not like she's trying to be mysterious.
And she just herself with a couple of extra steps. Honestly,
like, she's like hiding behind a bush with like a hood over her face, but she gives the man her full ass name. And at first it feels all ominous because you're like, why is his older brother like sending a spy after him? But she goes, if you need anything, just let me know. I'll always be here. And then she like disappears.
Yeah, I literally don't remember. That just sounds so stupid. So I hate this anime. I hated it.
It was so bad. I was like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, huh? Like, and then okay. Oh wait. Before we move to the fountain scene, because this is also really horrible. But I thought it was really funny that the entrance ceremony. I found it funny that in the entrance ceremony, the headmaster is like, 20% of all students here go crazy and lose it to madness. Will you be one of those, or will you survive? And I was like, okay, but statistically, 20% isn't like that high. Like,
it's not that bad. It wasn't like, whoa, oh gosh, guys, we should be scared.
Yeah, like, I was like, 20% is actually not that bad. Like, if you consider.
Be like, oh, guys, this is at stakes. We gotta really, like, you know, be
Yeah.
careful. Like 20, like, okay.
Like, 20% of kids also don't graduate from high school. Like, what are you trying to say? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just a really weird statistic that you keep throwing around. Like, I don't.
Like, okay.
Yeah, she's like, I hope I see you at graduate. I hope you survive. I'm like, all right, see you later, I guess.
I definitely couldn't take the headmaster seriously after when like she says all that speech, and then she was like, oh, let's get rid of a headache, la la la, and she just said, is that it? Okay. And she continued to talk, and it's not like she's like, see me after the speech, or like, you, like, how dare you? She's like, is that it? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, like, it would have made sense if she like called out the katana girl or said like, it's kids like you that don't survive. Like, you're the 20%. You know, I think that would have been interesting. Like, I get what they're trying to do, but it was just so random where she was literally like, all right, bye, and then she like leaves.
Yeah, she's just like, okay. Like, it felt like a real teacher. Like, she's like, okay, I'll wait till you're done. Okay, let's continue class. Like, you know, awkward. There's no point in that moment.
But it feels like this entire show, or the entire first episode, every moment felt like that. Like, it was all weird, isolated, random moments that don't make sense. And maybe it would have made sense with like a bigger, like a longer scene. Like the princess scene was like fucking random where they call each other princesses. Or like the scene where like the troll thing was also isolated and random. Why did she even bring up trolls having like communities and stuff if that was gonna hold no relevance? Why did, you know, they eat in that specific way? Why did he tuck in his friend? Oh, even right before that, the scene where he looks at the clock and there's like little gnomes on his clock hands. You remember that?
I don't remember.
And he has to like, he like shakes them off. Like they're like on his clock and he's like, haha, silly gnomes. Like, the silly time gnomes, like messing with my time. I'm like, why are you showing me? Like, what is this?
I understand it if they're really trying to make it like a Harry Potter, like, oh, the whole school itself is magical. But, like, it definitely did not feel that way. It was so...
It was so... And, okay, now we're going to go to the fountain scene. Fountain scene.
So, yeah, like we were saying before, dog is walking, and then she sees her out in the distance, naked. Like, naked, like, no clothes.
Not even in the girls' dorm, by the way. In the boys' dorm fountain.
Yeah, right where, yeah, why?
Because that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. He just had to. And as soon as he sees us, he puts a bear around both of them. Like, not even like just around her, just like around both of them. So it's only them two inside the barriers. No one can see inside. And he's like, what are you doing bathing here? And she's like, oh, hi. I'm not bathing. I'm purifying myself. And he's like, wait, but... Oh, what did he say? Oh my gosh.
I don't know, but okay, I understand. I think there's an interesting concept of like her saying like, oh, why would it be weird if people saw me naked? Like, I kind of like that. Like, oh, maybe in her culture, everyone just sees each other naked and it's like totally fine and normal.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was weird, but I thought it was weird where it was like, okay, I guess she's like, first of all, why the fuck is she purifying herself in the boys' dorm fountain? Why not the girls' dorm fountain?
Why not in her own bathroom?
Why not anywhere else? She doesn't explain it. And second of all, she goes in with like, she's not fully naked. She's half naked, but she has her like kimono at the waist. So she's topless, but the bottoms are still on.
Yeah.
So she gets out of the thing and she's like, oh, I don't have anything to dry myself with. All right, why don't you just wear your fucking the rest of your wet ass outfit? Like, you're not, you clearly didn't care.
Right,
yeah, just put it on. You'd rather be naked than like be wet. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't.
Now it's a concern.
Yeah, and you're already fucking wet. Just put it on. Like, I don't understand.
Right.
And then so he like gives her his jacket, because of course he does, to like dry her off, right?
Oh my gosh.
And like, it's just like every step of this way feels like just an excuse to have a weird half naked scene with her for no reason. And so he gives her the jacket and she's like wearing the jacket. And then it has that scene where it's like, oh, but I could tell that like she was covered in blood. And then it ends. And I'm like, all right, what?
Yeah. I thought when they did that, it's really random, but that little scene of her when like, the blood like, around her and everything, it's kind of cute. Like her hair is like, pretty and everything. Yeah, I just wanted to say that her design is really cute, and her as a person, I mean, think is really cute. Like it is
really cute, and the character designs in general are very nice. Yeah, I like all the character designs, and I like that they use magic with their swords. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, but what is this mess? It was
very bad.
Yeah, very, very bad. Like, I like how they made her character, like how again, she's not like the others to a point where she's like, oh, I wasn't raised in this way.
Right.
And she's like very kind, almost like, lighthearted, you know? Nice, but.
It also just felt a little too like, wow, like, oh my God, Western culture. Like, you know, like a sort of weird, but like, oh, but she's of the more like, you know, she has the real culture, you know. I don't know, it just felt a little like I wasn't like super into that either. I like the idea of someone from a different culture experiencing a new culture for the first time. Like that's really interesting to me. I like a lot of the concepts that they use, but I just feel like it was all done in a very bad way that felt very like, oh, she's so cool and special, like, but the only reason why she's cool and special is because she is Japanese, I guess, and everybody else isn't.
Right, that was like the only like, oh, she's walking in with a kimono on the first day for the school entrance, and everybody else is not.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. Like, yeah, it was just that was like her whole personality, basically.
Yeah, it was like that was literally her entire personality, and then like, I don't mind. I know a lot of people, and you know, we can kind of tie this into like Mashal a little bit too. I know some people really don't like the Harry Potter knockoff type series. I actually don't mind those. Yeah. Like, I actually like that because, you know, I loved Harry Potter growing up. I love the concept of that. It's not like it's like a brand new concept either. I like all of the whole magic school stuff. Like it really excites me. Yeah, but this was just trash.
It was straight up garbage. Straight up.
Yeah.
It was so not a single part where I'm like, oh, they did this so well. Like, no, they just put a bunch of random ideas together and went and ran with it. Yeah. Solid one.
The animation wasn't too terrible for this one though. I think the animation was all right on this one.
Yeah, it was pretty decent.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty decent.
The main character,
Especially compared to some of the other ones that we were talking about.
Yeah, yeah, definitely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, the main character didn't do anything for me at all. So yeah, you know.
No. Gary Sue to a T.
Oh, to a T for sure. Solid one.
I just don't like Gary Sue, Mary Sue characters in general. And I also don't feel like they're very good self-insert characters. I guess they're self-insert for people who actually think that they're like perfect or whatever, I guess. But I don't know. In this modern day and age, I feel like not a lot of people internally think that they're perfect, do they?
Oh, yeah, I can't imagine. So that's so
Right.
unrealistic. That's so like,
It is.
Even like having a couple flaws, even a couple of things like, oh, I know that I'm not good at this or that. They're just like, I just want everybody to be happy. It doesn't matter how I am, you know, like.
Right.
I think that to a degree too, but come on, man, come on.
Well, I think that's like being altruistic is different than being a Mary Sue, though.
That's true.
Yeah, like I think it's okay to be positive and altruistic and think that everything can work out, or like try to do your best, and all of those things are fine. But I think for example, I don't think Naruto is a Gary Sue.
Yeah, right.
I think Naruto, no, I don't think he's a Gary Sue because he's not perfect and he understands that he's not perfect.
He knows
and I think that's
yeah.
fine. Yeah. But I feel like, for example, Reign of the Seven Spellblades and the Great Cleric both had extreme Gary Sues where like they are, and My Happy Marriage, she's like a Mary Sue, right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, there are aspects of her where it is not as bad. I think the Great Cleric and Reign of Seven Spellblades is way worse in that aspect.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah,
no,
so
definitely not a fan of that.
So apparently, actually, before we go on, I heard that this anime was actually a light novel that was really loved. So I wonder how the light novel is.
Well, that's funny because the series that I was kind of mentioning earlier was Eminence of Shadow.
Eminence, that sounds so familiar.
Yeah, so Eminence of Shadow is like another Isekai series, but it has a really similar vibe for some reason. I don't really know how to pinpoint it as Reign of the Seven Spellblades. Maybe because it's like the sort of Gary Sue thing. But that one also I complained about on stream before, and a lot of my chatters were saying that the visual novel is much better, or not the visual novel, the light novel. The light novel is much better, and the light novel starts in a different place than the anime did. So it felt like just like a bad take adaptation of the story. So it is possible that Reign of the Seven Spellblades has a better light novel, or they're doing the same thing where like they're taking bits of the light novel, like scenes of the light novel that should have been later and just bringing it to the front.
I see. Yeah. And I haven't I have a lot of light novels I bought from the bookstore. I haven't gotten to any of them yet.
Oh, really?
But I would like to start to compare soon. Maybe have like an episode in the future just comparing light novel to anime in the future.
Yeah, I've actually never read a light novel before.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. I've been wanting to though. I just haven't found ones that I like or interest me from the cover. Slash, I'm worried that I will buy something that is trash.
I see.
I think that's what I'm worried about, because I think my tastes are very specific, especially for like light novels. It has to be very, or like for like novels in general, it has to be very specific. So
gotcha. Yeah. Definitely talk more about light novels in the future.
I'm writing it down as well.
Yeah. That'll be like a challenge more for us, huh?
Yeah, because we actually have to read something. I mean, I guess we could be like kind of book clubby.
Yeah, and I love reading, so it won't be too bad for me. But like, I never read a light novel before. Maybe it's different. Maybe the vibe is just different overall.
Yeah, I mean, I think it does. Light novels are gonna have the issue where, first of all, it's translated. So we're talking about text that's being translated and then localized, which is really rough in itself too. And it doesn't, anime relies on a lot of visual cues, right?
Right.
But the light novel doesn't have that to help it. So
So we'll see.
We'll have to see the quality of the localization and the translation for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I believe that is all of the summer 2023 anime that we watched this season. If you guys... Let me do it again. Let me do it again. We're gonna do a retake. Cut. Retake.
We'll drink water in this take.
Oh yeah, me too. Jesus Christ, definitely editing that out. Oh my god, my ears. Well, because I was gonna like lead into an outro, so we wanted to be kind of clean. Editing the first episode was rough because there was a lot of like us either talking over each other or like I couldn't cut it out because we would go into a whole ass tangent about it and then it would be relevant for the next topic and stuff. So anyway, okay.
We'll definitely fix that.
Yeah, we'll have to be better about that. But
oops.
That was all the anime that we watched for summer 2023. I believe next episode we're going to be talking about the anime from fall 2023 and kind of doing it in a similar aspect where we go through the first couple episodes of the ones that we like. Are there any that you're watching now so that if anyone wants to like watch before next episode that you'd want to talk about off the top of your head?
Oh, like I'm in love with the villainess. Like, yeah, it's my favorite Yuri manga or shoujo I guess you would say shoujo manga, and it finally got animated. And
awesome.
I think if I recall, the first episode came out, and I watched a little bit of it because I didn't want to like fully watch it when I wasn't when I was busy.
Right.
And oh my gosh, I love it. They did a good job with the art and how juicy it looks. Like it looks so good so far. So I want you guys to really check that out. It's really good. Yeah. So it's another shoujo I. So shoujo I.
I'm really excited to check that one out too. That sounds good.
Yeah.
I think my picks for fall 2023 for now are VTuberEN. If you haven't seen VTuberEN, I don't know if you'd like it, Meeta, actually, because it's a little more feel good slice of life fantasy. But it's very much up my alley. But you should still try it. Especially for the episode. And the other one that I've been reading the manga for a while that I stopped reading, so I'm excited to watch the anime, is Shangri-La Frontier.
Yeah.
Have you read that one?
I have not, actually. I haven't even heard of it.
Oh, yeah. That one is a very... I think you'll like that one a lot.
Ooh, okay. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you are listening to this podcast, please... we would love to hear what your favorite anime and what your least favorite anime was from summer 2023 in the comments below. Let us know if you agree with our opinions. Maybe you liked Reign of the Seven Spellblades. And if you did, please let us know why, because clearly we are going to have a hard time comprehending it. But if you could let us know if you liked it, if you didn't like it, what you agreed with us, what you didn't agree with us, your favorite anime, your least favorite anime, we'd love to hear. And let us know what you're looking forward to in fall or what you've already seen that you're really liking. So we'll be talking about fall anime for the next episode. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that.
Yeah, and if you have any clips or any moments that you love from this podcast, go ahead and tweet it. And make sure you use our hashtag, what was it, 2 Weebs in a Pod, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, so go ahead and use that as the hashtag so we can see it and see what you guys like.
Yeah. And we have a little surprise. I think it should be done by our next stream.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Oh,
really exciting.
That's very exciting. I hope you guys are looking forward to that surprise. I am definitely looking forward to it.
Me too. So look forward to that surprise. Next episode will be on my channel live, but edited on Meeta's channel. And this episode, the edited version, will be on my channel.
Yes.
As we've been rotating back and forth. Yeah. And with that, we'll close out.
Yeah, I love muscles.
I love maidens.
This is 2 Weebs in the Pod.
2 Weebs in the Pod. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much. Pachi.
Pachi. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.